We've got Eddie Bridges on the far side. And I believe we have Dennis Ross on the near side. A little hard to see the numbers from where we are right now, but we'll pick them up as the day goes on.
Two good sure-handed receivers and two fellas with pretty good speed for the Cyclones back deep. And this is an aspect of the game that Coach Walden works very, very hard on.
And you can see that the wind just blew the football off the tee, so it is swirling down there. And it is a brisk wind, gusting up to about 30 miles an hour today. The spirit is high. The electricity is flowing. And we're ready for the kickoff of the big one. Iowa State, 1987. The Hawkeyes favored by 22. They've won the last 4 in a row. But here comes the new Jim Walden Iowa State Cyclones. Murphy's kick comes down short at the 15, taken by Dennis Ross. Cuts across the field, up across the 20, struggles to about the 25. And the Iowa State Cyclones will start out at about their own 24-yard line. Let's check the offense now for Iowa State. Brett Sadek will be the starting quarterback today, and Jim Walden will use 2 of them.
Looking across the line, I think one of the keys is going to be right in the middle, right there by the football. Mussman, the freshman center, will be going against a very experienced nose guard. Brett Sadek, of course, the quarterback, has good experience in the Big Ten, started 11 games for Minnesota before transferring.
Iowa State will start out with a single setback formation. Sadek in 87, 14 of 25, and Sadek to throw. First play, going long. Upfield intended for Ross and overthrown out of bounds. Greg Brown in on the coverage for Iowa. And the defense now for the Hawkeyes. They are big.
Big, strong defensive line across. They'll go little guy there, this 235 is Joe Mott. But right there in the middle, you see Dave Haight, the nose guard. He'll be playing across from the freshman center, and that is a big matchup for the Cyclones.
Coming in now to the Iowa State lineup, number 32 right there in the huddle is Tom Kiska. Kiska, a sophomore from Bolingbrook, Illinois, coming in at running back now. They use split backs, Henderson and Kiska. 3 wide receivers. And a fumble snap, but whistles blew, I believe, before the snap. Delay of game. Iowa State, they didn't get it off in time. The officials today headed up by Sam Maphis of the Big 8. And as usual, they will use a split crew.
On the offense, still second down.
So it's still second down. And now instead of 2nd and 10, it will be 2nd and 15. Just underway, first quarter, 14:46 to play in the first quarter. Sadek. Wide receivers to both sides. Slot formation to the right. The pitch. Henderson. Tries to go around the right side. Gets about 4 before J.J. Puck makes the stop for the Hawkeyes. Henderson, 21 carries last week for 96 yards. And keep in mind that Iowa State last year averaged only about 100 yards rushing per game. They come into this ball game averaging 181 yards on the ground, 218 in the air, 399 in their first outing against the Green Wave in the Superdome. Single setback formation, 3 wideouts, 3rd down and 7. Sadek to let it fly. First down, Iowa State. Complete to Tom Schulding, and Greg Brown makes the tackle.
Key to the play, the Iowa Hawks playing a little bit soft on defense. There you can see a good center mismatch. But you notice defensive back way off of Schulding. They had good time. Take a look now at the receiver. Tom Schulding, fine receiver out of California, junior college transfer. An excellent receiver and has great speed. Drives hard at the defensive back, goes about 8 yards, makes the reception. And you see the red line, he gets the first down.
1st and 10 on the 36-yard line of Iowa State. 13:47 to play in the first quarter. No scores yet. Split backs, option. Sadek kicks it out to Kiska. Kiska up the sideline for about 8. Puck again rides him out of bounds, but he is all the way up to about the 45.
Notice the blocking on the corner, and you see no white jerseys in that area. The Cyclones had the corner pretty well covered. Lots of good pursuit by the Hawkeyes, and of course Jim Walden has expected that. He said they have good speed in the defensive backfield and the linebackers. But the Cyclones had the corner. They had a mismatch on that side. More offensive players than defensive.
A gain of 8, second down and 2 at the 45. Audible at the line of scrimmage, perhaps. Fakes the dive. Kiska again, same play. First down and more. Across midfield into Iowa territory before Terry Burt knocks him out of bounds.
Found a little bit of a crack. Again, once again, no white jerseys. You see the speed of the Cyclones gets outside, and those big linemen of Iowa, you try to get them to move in sideways. Maybe a little bit of an advantage for the Cyclones.
There's Tom Kiska. 2 sweeps around the outside. He's not the fastest running back in the Cyclone lineup, but thus far he has found a little daylight. First and 10 at the Iowa 46-yard line. This time, Henderson on a counter straight up the middle, keeping the Hawkeyes honest perhaps. A gain of about 4, and Myron Kepi, the defensive tackle, makes the stop for the Hawkeyes. Henderson comes into this ball game with impressive stats after game 1, and he's a young man from Chicago. Chicago Leo, as a matter of fact.
Henderson with 98 yards, of course, in the game against Tulane, has good size, a hard worker, and Coach Walden and the running back coach Norm Anderson think that he really works during practice and is a good game day player also.
3 wide receivers. Sadek, quick drop over the middle, great catch. Tom Schulting again, or is it Dennis Ross? It is Ross. Kerry Burt with the coverage, but Ross hauls it in for the first down.
Just a quick drop for the Cyclones. You notice just a little hole. Dennis Ross is there, makes a nice leaping catch in behind the linebacker for the Hawkeyes.
Dennis Ross, 6 catches last week against Tulane for 55 yards, hails from Detroit, Michigan. And Iowa State with the first down now on the Hawkeye 29. Up the middle. Little, if any, daylight for Tom Kiska. Maybe 1 or 2.
Might wonder why Tom Kiska's in there today. Michael Brown would be the normal starter. I think he started the game at the running back spot, but Michael Brown's had a problem all week. He was slightly injured in the Tulane game. Has a little problem with lateral movement. He can go straight ahead, but he can't go sideways, and that's part of the key to the little 160-pounder success.
Iowa State has run the ball 5 times, passed it 3, and they have marched up the field. Keep in mind the drive started at about their own 24-yard line. Second down and 8. In motion is Ross. The pitch goes to Henderson. Henderson tries right end, and the going is tough. And the Hawkeye defense stiffens. A gain of 2 on the play.
Little shoving match going on that you'll see almost every game between players. Just happens.
Brett Sadek from Apple Valley, Minnesota. He started for the Golden Gophers. And then all of a sudden they had a change of coaches up at Minnesota. And Ricky Foggy became the man of the hour because they went to the option. Sadek, unhappy, was also recruited by Iowa, but elected to transfer to Iowa State. He wants to go to a throwing offense. Ross in motion to the far side. Sadek straight back drop. Goes to the sideline. Complete. First down. Greg Brown makes the tackle, but not before. Brett Sadek connects again with Tom Schulting.
You notice a man in motion. Cyclone put a man in motion. They had it a little overload to the right-hand side. There's 2 receivers in the area, and over there just 1 man to cover. Good reception down the side to Tom Schulting. Out of Walnut Creek, California. Set a national record receiving in junior college and then came to Iowa State a year ago.
He's also tied for first in the Big 8 in receiving, 16th in the nation. Comes into the game with 6 catches for 81 yards last week against Tulane. Single back set. Sadek. Shotgun. And a flag flies. It is incomplete. Almost a run and shoot type offense on that particular play. And let's get the indication.
Man in motion, I think, was in motion.
The indication is illegal procedure against Iowa State.
That'll cost them 5 if Iowa elects to take the penalty. They may elect to take the down instead.
Illegal procedure on the offense.
They will take the penalty on the yardage, so it will remain first down, but first and 15. It moves the ball back to the 18.5-yard line, as you can gander there at Hayden Fry, pacing somewhat nervously on the sideline right now.
Cyclones doing much what they did last week against Tulane. They're just taking the football, going right down the field with it.
Dennis Ross split to the near side, full house backfield. Look at this, new formation. Didn't see this in game 1 against Tulane. Fullback is Henderson, and he is drilled at about the line of scrimmage. So that one didn't fool anyone. Myron Kepi, the defensive tackle for Iowa, big 6'3", 260-pound senior, made the first hit on Henderson. There's a good look at Greg Brown. Also Joe Mott.
Injured player is Myron Kepi. 6'3", 260. He was in on the hit.
And Hayden Fry isn't going to take any chances. He wants to know, how is he? How bad is it? Right now, he is out on the field. 10 minutes, 52 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Thus far, Iowa has not had their hands on the football. Iowa State started out at their own 24-yard line, and they have marched right up the field. And there is timeout called right now while Kepi is being attended to. So we'll be back to Cyclone Stadium in Jack Trice Field in just a moment. Cianowski here on the Cyclone Television Network. We have second down and 14 on the 17-yard line of the Hawkeyes.
There's a set they worked on all week. Trips to the right and motion.
Ross goes in motion, draw play to Henderson, tripped up as he crosses the line of scrimmage, gets maybe one, and a good defensive effort by Iowa in deciphering that play.
They make the right changes to stop the play, but I think Henderson maybe just hit the wrong hole. If he'd been a little bit further to left, might have picked up pretty good yardage. Joe Schuster, big fella out of Faribault, Minnesota, 6'5", 260, and he looked across both Iowa lines, and that's about the average-sized guy.
Big play for Iowa State. Third down and 12. They're in the red zone, and this has been sluggish for Iowa State. Sadek to throw. He has his man short of the first down, but complete down to around the 11-yard line. Greg Brown connects with Dennis Ross on the stop. And Ross just simply doing those little sideline out routes and coming up successful thus far today.
I think Sadek looked downfield first to see if somebody long might be open, but then went to the, looked like a secondary receiver to Ross. Get the ball in a good place for Shudak to try a field goal.
All right, we have Jeff Shudak on to attempt a 27-yard field goal. Shudak 4 of 5 in 87. The ball is down, the kick is up, and the kick is good. And Iowa State puts the first points on the board. With 9 minutes, 49 seconds left to play in the first quarter, the Cyclones lead the Hawkeyes 3-0.
Was stunned in the play, just hit real hard. He seems to be okay, and he'll be probably back in the next series of downs.
All right, that's good news. Thank you very much, Arlen. Arlen Cianowski, former Cyclone player, down on the sidelines. And now, will Jeff Shudak really boot it long, or will they try one of those so-called popovers here? Because the Hawkeyes are sort of gathered together right in the midst of the field. 3-0, 9:49 to play in the first quarter.
And a couple of burners deep for the Hawks, Quinn Early and Kevin Harmon. I think the Hawks are doing that to not give the Cyclones an idea what they're going to do when they line up. Now they spread out and to cover their individual players.
Here's Shudak's kick. And sort of a squib kick taken by the up back. And Iowa with excellent field position at about their own 37-yard line. And it was Grant Goodman from West Des Moines Valley, who is a senior running back. There was the up back, and there's a look at the Hawkeye offense. And, of course, Chuck Hartley getting his first start as quarterback. And there he is. Comes into the ball game, 14 of 22 on the year from Woodstock, Illinois.
14 of 22, 175 yards passing, and 1 touchdown. But a good option quarterback.
Here's the pitch back to Kevin Harmon. Harmon on the left side, and good running room up to about the 45. Now, defense was the question mark for Iowa State and Jim Walden. Can they stop the Iowa Hawkeyes? Ray Carruthers makes the first tackle on Harmon, but a gain of 8 on the play brings up 2nd down and 2. Defensively for Iowa State, here's the way they look. Dabney, Byrne, Benson, Staudiak up front. Staudiak, a converted tight end. The linebacking core is a good one. Moore and Richards. But the defensive secondary is what is questionable.
A lot of youngsters.
Hartley, again, this time to Harmon. And a big play for the Iowa State defense. A gain of maybe 1 or 2. It'll be close to first down yardage. Chad Welding, the free safety from Sioux City North, comes up to make the stop on Harmon. Kevin Harmon coming into the ball game with 25 carries, 107 yards thus far in 2 games, averaging 4.3 a carry.
Talked with Robin Ross just a little bit before the game, Mark, and Robin indicated he thought the Hawks might try to go deep on him maybe in this first series to test the defensive secondary. But what they've started out with is pretty basic running plays to kind of test and see how strong the Iowa State defensive line and linebackers are and how they react. But we still might see that long throw. If this is a first down, I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
It is. Half the football. So 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes, and they're close to midfield. On the road, last season Iowa was 2-4. And there's a good look at Chuck Hartley, flanked by Quinn Early, and the Iowa huddle. 8 minutes, 57 seconds left to play. First quarter, 3-0 Iowa State. Harmon the tailback, Hudson the fullback. Running out of the eye, receivers split to both sides. The pitch goes back to Harmon. Finds a good block on the right side, struggles across midfield up to about the Iowa State 47. Jeff Dole in on the tackle, as was Chad Welding.
It's a good hard run by Kevin Harmon. Didn't look like from here there was much of a hole, but Harmon just kind of looks around, finds the little crack in the defense, and gets about 6 or 7 yards. Good hard running, good blocking by the Hawkeye offensive line.
Gain of 6 of the play brings up 2nd down and 4. Change in the tight end alignment now. Marv Cook moves over to the left side, and the receivers are doing a little shuffling out there. Hartley on the draw play to Harmon. Up to the line of scrimmage and then shakes loose. A great gain for Ronnie Harmon, finally caught by Marcus Robertson, the right cornerback. They thought they had him stopped, but Harmon just jitterbugged his way through the traffic all the way up to the 30-yard line of Iowa State.
Harmon on the draw play, and this is one that should have been stopped. There's a missed tackle right there. Player looked like he had him, squeaks through. Another missed tackle right there, and finally Marcus Robinson, the freshman defensive back, hammers him to the ground. But a good run by Harmon.
1st and 10. Iowa knocking on the Cyclone door. First possession for the Hawkeyes of the day. This time Harmon tries to pick and choose his way through the middle. A gain of about 1 as he crosses the 30. And in on the tackle was Chris Moore, the middle linebacker, and Scott Benson, the defensive tackle.
Scott Benson in from the defensive tackle position, made a fine play. Cyclones a little bit outweighed across there. Byrne and Benson inside are 258 and 233. Not really defensive tackle size, but you can do a lot with technique and knowing what you're doing.
This time there seems to be an audible being called by Hartley. He wanted to go to a wing formation. He goes into an eye, throws it out to Harmon, bobbles it, heads for the sideline, and still gets out of bounds after a nice gain up to about the 22-yard line.
Carruthers had a good opportunity to really put the stick on Harmon here. Harmon bobbled the ball. It was a delayed pitch. And you see Carruthers right there. Hit him with an arm and an arm only. Same play once again. Bobbles the ball. It pops up in the air. Goes outside, and pretty good balance to get outside.
This time, Harmon again, right up the middle. First down should be as he crosses the 20. We had a new face in the defensive backfield for Iowa State, George. It was Lopez Williams making that last stop along the sidelines. First time I think we've mentioned his name all year.
Right.
Chris Moore makes the tackle here as you look at Jim Walden, first year at Iowa State. Iowa will have the first down at the Iowa State 19-yard line, and Ronnie Harmon has been in establishing a badly needed Hawkeye running game thus far today.
Sure that isn't Kevin Harmon?
Right. Kevin, I'm sorry. Ronnie's playing for Buffalo tomorrow, I think. Hartley and a sack. Tom Stoniak for Iowa State drops Chuck Hartley behind the line of scrimmage for a loss of 2.
First attempted pass by the Hawkeyes in Cyclone defensive secondary, which not too much known about it. They're all youngsters, relative newcomers. But you watch Hartley. This is pass all the way. There's no attempt at a run. You see Stoniak right there, gathers him up. Hartley looked downfield. Receivers were covered, decided to eat it.
Quinn Early split to the near side for Iowa. And this time the counter to Harmon. Tries the left side of the line, and Iowa State buckles down and stops him after a gain of about 1 or 2. Up to about the 17-yard line, and Jim Walden chewing on that gum right there. Of course, keep in mind that Iowa's well within range of Rob Houtland, one of the top place kickers in the United States. Anthony Hoskins gets credit for the tackle on that last play. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 8. The ball is on the Cyclone 17. Big play right here for the Hawkeyes. And you can hear the fans. Split set. Hudson and Harmon. Straight drop back by Hartley. Plenty of time. Throws it underneath the coverage to Hudson. Hudson stopped short of the first down. Tripped up as he crosses the 15 up to about the 12.
Good defensive play by the Cyclones. Robert Dabney made the stop, but just excellent coverage downfield. I think that was, they didn't intend to go deep. They were trying to set up that little screen. Well, Potter says someplace in there they missed a clip, but Houtland will try it from about 30.
Rob Houtland on the field to attempt to tie this ball game up. It will be a 30-yard attempt from the far hash mark. Keep in mind the wind does funny things here at Cyclone Stadium. Kick is up. Plenty long enough, and it is good. And it is a brand new ball game once again. So with 4 minutes, 29 seconds left to play in the first quarter, the Hawkeyes and the Cyclones settle for a field goal. Iowa set to kick off for the 2nd time this afternoon. A blustery, gray afternoon in Ames, Iowa. Big 10 against the Big 8. Murphy, barefoot kicker, boots a dandy. Ross at the 9. To the 27. Jim Johnson makes the tackle on the special teams for Iowa. Let's check some of the statistics thus far. Iowa rushing 10 times, 62 yards. Iowa State 33 yards on the ground. In the passing department, Iowa 1 of 1 for 4, and Iowa State 4 of 5 for 47. And again, let's see who the quarterback is. I believe it's Sadek. Split backs in the backfield. Hand off to Henderson. Trips at about the line of scrimmage. Dives forward for 2, and Myron Kepi gets credit for the tackle. Good to see that Kepi is back in there. He was shaken up.
Ends any question as to how seriously he was hurt. Kepi back in the lineup, and he's a big fella. 6'3" senior, 260 pounds.
Eddie Bridges checks into the Cyclone lineup now. It'll be Ross split to the near side. Mike Bush, the tight end, split way to the far side, and Bridges will line up in the slot. Hawkeye showing blitz, but instead it's a pitch back to Kiska. And Kiska simply could not get the corner there. A good defensive effort by Joe Mott, the left defensive end for Iowa.
Hawks have seen this a few times. They're trying to get outside once again. They did not get the corner. You notice right here, well, there's kind of a missed block. If that block is solid, he goes inside, picks up 3 or 4 yards. Man comes off the block and makes the stop. Nice defensive play on that side by Joe Mott.
Keith Sims was trying to fight Mott off, but he pushed him the wrong way. Gain of 5. 3rd down and 5. Sadek wants to throw. Takes his time. Double pump. And then throws it away. Henderson was in the neighborhood. Iowa wants a flag, but there will not be one. Iowa was wanting intentional grounding, but Joe Henderson, who was an eligible receiver, was right there where the ball was thrown, so Sadek just wisely put it away. It'll bring up the first punting situation for Iowa State on the day. We have 3:31 left to play in the first. Judge Johnston will be the punter. His long one, a 48-yarder inside the Superdome last week. Let's see what effect the wind might have here. Peter Marciano back deep for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Johnston, pressure being put on, and Johnston boots a hanger. Marciano takes it at the 39, and a flag flies.
I wonder whether he signaled for a fair catch or what might have happened, or whether there was an illegal block or what might have gone on. But
I think he was too close, George. Too close to the receiver. Got to give him 2 yards. And let's find out the official call from referee Sam Mason.
Tackle on the play by Iowa State's Mike Bush.
Sam, turn it on.
We got non-contact interference on the kicking team.
Yep.
5 yards, first down.
5 yards, first down. Jim Walden's arguing the decision there. You have to give him 2 yards, and they called it non-contact interference. Too close for comfort. Well, we have timeout with 3:24 to play in the first quarter, and it's still a dead heat at 3, but Iowa with excellent field position.
look at what happened on the preceding play. Here's Marciano waiting for the kick. You notice the Iowa State player sneaking in there just a little bit close. He's got to give him a couple of yards, 2 steps in any direction, so that not too close. The Iowa State player too close, and they called it.
Hartley going long and complete. What a play. A long pass downfield to Marv Cook, the tight end. And it was a strike all the way down to the 34.
Marv Cook and Hartley with excellent protection. The fake inside to Harmon. Harmon helping block. Now trying to get out, but Hartley has plenty of time. Gets the pass up over, and Cook was in behind the defensive secondary, was completely wide open at the sideline, made the catch and rolled out of bounds. A first down for the Hawks.
Marv Cook from West Branch, Iowa.
Big fella.
Split set in the backfield. Harmon and Hudson. He gets the carry, and he's dropped. And what a tackle by Tom Stoniak for a loss of 4.
That's one of the good stories, I think, Mark, too, is Tom Stoniak came here from Omaha, a highly touted offensive end. You notice the block was missed by Harmon, and I don't think he went any part of Stoniak. Stoniak with good speed. He was a fine receiver, a tight end. Big fella, 6'5", 241-pound senior out of Omaha. Made a change to defensive end, and it's been a pleasant surprise, I'm sure, for the coaches.
A loss of 4 on the play. Brings up second down and 14 at the 39-yard line. And Hartley rolling out has Quinn Early. Carruthers about 2 steps behind him, and Early has the first down across the 25-yard line down to the 23.
You know, earlier we mentioned, Mark, about the dimension of the Hawks, and with Hartley now they're getting, instead of the straight setback quarterback, they're getting the mobile quarterback. And you notice Early there with a lot of space between he and Carruthers. Early with fine receiver with good speed, lots of experience.
Comes into the ball game with 14 receptions, 183 yards, averaging 13.1 per catch, and that's a bunch. Counter play to Harmon. Daylight runs into his own man and was slowed up somewhat before Chad Welding drags him to the turf, but not before he gets inside the 10.
Notice the blocking inside for the Hawks. See right there, big fella in a big hole right there. Missed block. He ran into his own offensive lineman, and Chad Welding up to make the stop.
Greg Fetters got in his
Notice
way.
the line blocking. See the 55 going across. Opens the big hole, helps open the big hole, but good running room for Kevin Harmon.
First and 10. Officially spotted at the 11-yard line. And Iowa with its most serious threat of the afternoon. Harmon right up the middle. Touchdown, Iowa. Kevin Harmon. 11-yard gallop right down Broadway. And Iowa has has taken a 9-3 lead with 1:59 to play in the first quarter. Rob Houtlett on to tack on the extra. Hartlieb is the holder. Dead center. And it's a 10-3 ball game.
Look at it from the end zone. 11-yard run by Harmon. See, big number 75 is taken right out of the play. Doing a little bit of a stunt. Took him right out of the play. They made a good read on the defense. Chad Welding couldn't hold him, and Harmon makes an excellent effort to get into the end zone. Marcus Robertson there, but too late.
Hayden Fry having a little strategy session down there with Chuck Hartlieb. And there's some smiles starting to show now for Iowa.
They're evidently, from the press box, they're finding some things, Mark, in the Cyclone defense, some things the Cyclones are doing, and they think maybe they've got it analyzed. Now, there's Norm Anderson, the offensive backfield coach, chatting with Coach Walden. And they obviously have seen some things that maybe they'd like to try. So he's passing the suggestions along.
Well, Iowa State will get the football back for the third possession of the afternoon. Iowa has scored on both possessions thus far. A field goal by Houtlett and then a touchdown by Harmon. The scoring drive, only 5 plays covering 56 yards in 1 minute, 59 seconds. George Murphy set to kick off. Ross and Bridges will be the deep backs for Iowa State. And the wind just keeps blowing the football off the tee. That gives you a little indication of what's happening down on the field. It is a blustery day.
You look at the flags up above, Mark. It's a peculiar stadium with the 2 open ends, and the wind comes in there, and it goes one way along the ground level, and it's going directly across the stadium up at the top.
Kerry Burt will hold for Murphy now. And now he says, well, it's okay. We'll give it another try. Sailing down to Dennis Ross at the 10. Ross, nice step. Back up to the 29. Tackle made by number 48, Tyrone Berry, a defensive end actually from Mount Vernon, New York, and Jim Johnson. And Iowa State will start out 1st and 10 at their own 29-yard line with 1 minute, 53 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Brent Sadek comes on again to guide the Cyclones. Sadek, 4 of 6 for 47 yards thus far today.
Running without a huddle.
Drop back, intended for Schulding, but good coverage provided by Merton Hanks, sophomore right cornerback from Dallas, Texas. And I think Sadek forced that one a little bit, George.
Yeah, he forced it a little bit. The Hawks reacted a little bit quicker than he thought they might, because the Cyclones came out, had the play called on the sideline, ran the play without a huddle. And could well have caught the Hawks snapping, but they had good coverage.
Bridges to the near side, Ross to the far side. 2nd and 10. Iowa showing maybe a blitz, but no, they drop back. Here's the option. The kick out. Henderson, he's got some running room. First down, and then handcuffed. Yeah. And a flag flies on the play. There may have been a face mask on the play. Dwight Sistrom chases down Henderson.
Here's the option. The pitch goes out. Here's a great move by Henderson to go outside, just put the man on the ground. Good speed by Henderson, goes up the side, and he'll get face masked. See it right there. Turns his head completely around. That'll be a 15-yarder. Cyclones will be in Iowa territory, and they have their 4th first down.
Kerry Burt was the man that got a piece of the face mask. Let's listen to Sam Maphis.
Face mask. Defense, 5 yards, push down.
5 yards.
Yeah, it's either a 5 or a 15. If it's a flagrant thing, it's a 15. If it's just an incidental thing, it's 5.
There's Joe Henderson, 7 carries for 30 yards today. That's better than 4 a gallop. 1st and 10 at midfield. 1:42 left to play first quarter. Dennis Ross in motion. Pitch back. Henderson again. This time, tough going. for a gain of about 3. And getting up off the bottom of that pile is number 32 for the Hawkeyes, and that's J.J. Puck in on the stop. Melvin Foster also helped out from the linebacking spot.
Watch the blocking on the right side. Turning right in, you notice right there, and 64 came off his block, made the stop. Good defensive pursuit by the Hawkeyes.
Good pursuit by Dave Haight, who is the nose guard. He really turned on there. 1:05 and counting, first quarter. 2nd and 6. Ross motion to the near side. Sadek back to throw. Heading for Bridges, and that one got away from him, and pressure was really put on there also by Joe Mott. Sadek didn't have much breathing time on that occasion.
That was not even intended for Bridges. That was a throwaway. Sadek saw the pressure coming, and he just overthrew Bridges intentionally. Got rid of it.
Sadek now 4 of 8, 47 yards. Big play now, 3rd down and 6. See if they go airborne or keep it on the ground. They'll go with 3 wideouts. Henderson will be the only setback for the Cyclones. Again, Dennis Ross in motion. Last week it was Bridges in motion all the time. Sadek with time. Over the middle. Complete. Short of the first down. J.J. Puck there to defend. It was complete to Henderson, but it will not be enough for the first down. Now it's decision time for Jim Walden as we have a 4th and 1 coming up.
You watch Henderson out of the backfield, goes in. You see the 2 linebackers kind of spread out. Henderson's wide open, makes the catch, turns right in and gets hit head on. He'd maybe gone a little bit to his right, but that's something that happens instantaneously. But a good conceived play by the Cyclones, just fell about a half a yard short there. Go for it.
Full house backfield. Walden says go. They've got Sylvester Nickerson, Tom Kiska, and Henderson in there. The handoff to Henderson, first down. And the Cyclone fans love it. Myron Keppy makes the stop, but they couldn't hold Iowa State from getting the badly needed 1.
Watch the blocking on the right side. You see the lead block by Kiska. Kiska through the hole to give a little help. Doesn't really get anybody, but nevertheless is there. And this is the secret of this formation. It allows them to get blockers in front of the ball carrier along with the linemen.
Myron Keppy did a good job making the stop. Well, that is the end of the first quarter. And at the end of 1, Iowa leads Iowa State 10-3. But we've got a barn burner here at Cyclone Stadium. They've been moving the stakes. State on the Iowa 38-yard line. And there's the rushing story thus far today.
Iowa was 62 yards. The Cyclones were 33 passing. Iowa State was 60. Iowa 39. It's about even offense.
Single setback formation now for Iowa State, and I believe the setback is going to be Henderson. Sadek to throw, being chased out of the pocket, throwing away. And the pressure was really applied by Joe Schuster. Big 6'5", senior defensive tackle from Faribault, Minnesota. And Sadek just didn't like the route. And you can see right there, he's telling somebody, hey, you cut the wrong way.
Watch, pick up the big blocker, pick up Haight, take care of him, but too much time. Took too long to develop. You see the pressure coming from Keppy, or from Schuster, and also Keppy moving in, and Sadek wisely just dumped it out of bounds.
2nd and 10 at the 38. Sadek 5 of 10, 50%, 60 yards thus far. 1 setback, 3 wideouts out there for Iowa State. Plenty of time, complete to Mike Bush, the tight end. It'll be a gain of about 7 or 8, short of the 30. J.J. Puck drops Bush in his tracks. And that's going to be the 3rd reception for Bush in 87.
Now, this is basically the Jim Walden offense. Quick passes. You notice Bush comes out, gets set, gets a good reception, but also gets nailed by Puck. But a good play by the Cyclones. They won't throw a lot of long passes in the Jim Walden system. Big fella right there, Mike Bush, a fine prospect for tight end.
Comes from North Scott High School. 3rd down and 3. Slot left, and now motion with Bridges to the near side. The option, the kick. Henderson stops at the 30. He'll be about 2 yards short of the first down. And again, Myron Keppy, who is playing such a fabulous game thus far, makes the tackle.
And
the play took a little long to develop, George.
No, it's still the same option play. Run pretty much to the short side of the field, and it does take a little while to develop. Cyclones get pretty good blocking, but defensive secondary for the Hawkeyes is very, very tough. They're an experienced team. They get up and make the stop.
Jeff Shudak comes on to attempt a 47-yard field goal attempt from the near hash mark. Derek DeGennaro will be the holder. Iowa State trailing 10-3. Here's the kick. Looking good. It is. A 47-yard field goal by Jeff Shudak brings the Iowa State Cyclones back to within 4. 13:23 to play in the half. Iowa State back to within 4. 10-6. 13:23 remaining to be played in the first half.
10-play drive. 10-play drive, 71 yards. They had the ball 2 minutes, 2:61. That'd be 3:01. 13:23 to go, and the Hawks setting up inside on the receive, and when the Cyclone team spreads out, then they spread out to not give them any indication what they might want to do.
Harmon and Early back deep to receive. Jeff Shudak's kickoff. And this one is a dandy. Quinn Early backpedaling, takes it down at his own 2. And here's something. Shudak is the man that slowed him up. Jeff Shudak, the kicker, was first to make contact with Quinn Early. And then, of course, you can see right there that number 23, Adam Beck, finally gets up off the bottom of the pile.
Quinn Early, one of the receivers, a fine, fine receiver and also kick returner, has great speed. Backs it up. They'll start it at the 2-yard line. See right here?
Shudak.
I think that might be Jeff Bauer. That's number 8.
Oh, number 8.
If that's Bauer, kid out of Ankeny.
Now Rick Bayless is in the lineup. Hartley straight back. Wants to throw long. Has Early open. All the way up to the 40-yard line. Marcus Robertson hit him from behind to drop him in his tracks.
Watch this good protection once again for Hartley, and you notice the defender right there trips on the ground. Early catches the ball, turns around and looks, and I think he stepped out of bounds. But pretty good hit. 3 Cyclone defensive backs there. There's a young man out of Great Neck, New York.
Quinn Early. 13:09 to play in the first half. 1st and 10 at the 37. And Bayless gets the call, and he has nowhere to go but down. He gains 1. Chris Moore gets up off the top.
And he's hurt.
Bayless shaken up on the play. And you can see right there, he may have a leg cramp or something.
Watch right here. He has to make the stop. You see right there that caught the foot. I mean, it's hard to believe you can catch your foot on the turf, but his foot didn't slide at all, and it twisted an ankle, and I don't think he's going to be back. That doesn't look good for Rick Bayless, and he was the Hawk MVP last year. Just a fine, fine, hard-working back.
Tight end Mike Flagg. He'll be dropped short of the first down by Randy Richards, the linebacker from Urbandale. But it will be a nice gain, and it'll bring up about a 3rd and 2. Flagg, 4 catches, 64 yards in 87.
Mike Flagg, a senior, been an outstanding tight end, but it's really surprising. Marv Cook out of West Branch, also a senior, 6'4", 232, is the starter. But they use them together, and they use them both about equally.
Back to Hudson and Harmon in the backfield now, running out of the I formation, slot left. Hartley. Again, going to Harmon. Does he have the first down? He's right dead even with a stick. It'll be close. Chris Moore puts the stop on Kevin Harmon.
Good stop by Chris Moore, but watch Harmon. Harmon will go right straight through. You see a little hole. Number 28 sneaks through there. He'll get through, waves the arms. Hartley, here I am. And you notice Chris Moore makes the reaction. That's his man coming out of the backfield. Makes a good hit on him, but not before the first down.
It is the first down, and Hayden Fry has a little more satisfaction now. Iowa, 1st and 10 at the 47-yard line. What's happening is the defensive backs, George, are dropping back, trying to prevent the long bomb, and they're throwing underneath the coverage.
You've got to respect Iowa deep. They have good speed, and they have receivers that have worked for 2, 3, 4 years, and they're good ones.
This time the hand off to Harper. Nice move. Cuts wide. One man to beat. But he can't shake away from Lopez Williams, who is in there for Marcus Robertson right now, and we have a late flag that flies. Let's see what the penalty is about.
There you see the ability on this run. Kevin Harmon, just super. And there's Jim Walden talking to the official.
Well, I would imagine that the penalty is going to be against Iowa State.
Once again, watch the moves of Harmon. Goes there. That's where the play is designed to go. But he sees some room over here. There's the quick move. Looks a lot like his brother. Goes downfield. Has one man to beat. Lopez Williams. And Williams makes an excellent defensive play.
Jim Walden is hot. He doesn't like the call. It is against Iowa State. 5-yard penalty, face mask. 1st and 10. Penalties, Iowa, 1 for 5. Iowa State, 2 for 25. 1st and 10 on the 32. Counter. Nowhere to go for Richard Bass. A gain of 1.
Play designed to look like a pitch, but that didn't fool anyone.
Tom Staudiak makes the tackle for Iowa State. He's a big one.
Well, I watched Staudiak. Moving over to the defensive side. It's just too bad he wasn't there 2, 3 years ago. He'd be an outstanding defensive end.
All right, let's go down to Arlen Sianowski on the sideline. Arlen?
Mark, what we have is Robertson at the Iowa State side sprained his ankle. They're icing it down. They're going to have to hold him out for a while to see about the swelling. His status is unknown. And Bayless is basically the same situation. He's got a twisted knee. They're examining him. It does not look serious at this point in time.
All right, thank you, Arlen. Meanwhile, Chuck Hartley tries to go to Mark Mazzari, and Ray Carruthers in on the coverage, but it was underthrown, incomplete. Stops the clock with 10:33 to go in the first half. 3rd down and 8 now for the Hawkeyes on the Cyclone 30.
I'm quite impressed with Hartley's play. He's handled the ball club quite well. Throws the football extremely well.
6 of 7, 70 yards thus far. Not bad. What more could you ask for? Except a touchdown here, maybe. Crossbuck counter. Gives it off to Bass, and Bass will get down to the 30 and no further. They'll be 3 yards short of the first down. Robert Dabney and Randy Richards combine to make the stop on Bass, and we may see Rob Houghton coming in here again.
Bass built like, you said a few years ago about a pro praise, built like a human bowling ball. He's 5'9", 223 pounds. Not very high, but rather wide.
Rob Houghton on the field, and this one will be a 41-yard attempt.
Getting quite a show from these guys. Houghton and Shudak.
Let's make it a 42-yarder. They spot the ball down at the 32-yard line. Kick is up. This one doesn't look like it's there. It isn't. It went wide to the right. It is no good. So we still have a ball game, and the fans are loving every second of it. And we hope you're enjoying this game all across the nation via satellite. 9:45 to go in the half, and it's Hawkeyes 10, the Cyclones 6, and it's a long way from being over. With 9:45 left to play in the first half, Iowa State will take over at the 25 because of the missed field goal attempts, and Iowa State also will bring on Derek DeGennaro. It'll be his first action of the day. DeGennaro comes into the ball game, completing 8 of 15 down at Tulane for 65 yards, and we'll see what the junior can do. Kiska and Henderson will be the running backs. Wide receivers split to both sides. The handoff right up the middle to Henderson. And he runs right into Big Joe Schuster for a little, if any, gain, maybe one. Gets up to about the 26. Joe Schuster from Faribault, Minnesota, and Dave Haight from Dyersville, Iowa, combined to make the stop. Clock running with 9.5 to go in the first half.
Haight was the defensive lineman of the year and the second team All Big Ten. Just an outstanding player. 6'3", 260 pounds. Boy, that's big.
Ross comes in motion to the near side. DeGennaro is going to have to run for his life. J.J. Puck on the coverage, but not before. Let's see who the receiver was. I think it might have been Eddie Bridges.
Take a look at it. Eddie Bridges goes downfield. DeGennaro had to roll out and try to find a receiver. Now watch this. There's Bridges. Puts the hands up. Here I am. Puts the head down. Knows he's going to get hit. Cyclones pick up the first down.
Or you catch him over the middle, you pay the price, don't you?
And Bridges not very big. He's just a little fella. 5'10", 170.
5 catches, 37 yards thus far. This time Tom Schulding in motion. 1st and 10 at the 36. Draw play to Henderson. Henderson with a couple up the middle. Runs into Melvin Foster, the linebacker.
Take a look at Henderson. Just a straight play. The quarterback took the ball back to him. He's nailed pretty heavily, but Henderson, a good, tough player. Solid football player.
I don't care how tough you are. It's still going to hurt on Sunday morning, George.
Oh, you bet.
2nd down and 8 now for Iowa State on the 38. DeGennaro. 3 wideouts. Flags fly. And we're going to have a procedure penalty against Iowa State. That'll be a costly one. It'll cost them 5.
Lots of movement.
Bring up a 2nd down and 13.
That was one that almost looked, Mark, like everybody missed the snap count because there was an entire line.
Well, we had a late snap, George.
And maybe a late snap.
Illegal procedure on the offense. Still 2nd down.
Everybody had the snap count except the center.
That's true. Yep. I'd turn it around. 6 for 30 yards, and a big difference in penalties so far. If that keeps up, it could be an astronomical difference by game's end. But
well, now we'll get a single setback for Iowa State. Henderson, the only man. Ross in motion again. Iowa showing a little stunning on the line. No, intercepted. Picked off by Kerry Burt, and DeGennaro is ripped at the 40.
Oh, this is interesting. It looked like somebody went the wrong way. I don't know. But it was a pass that shouldn't have been thrown because the receiver not there. The only player there was the Iowa player. Looked like it was thrown right directly to him.
A big play for the Hawkeyes and a great reception by Kerry Burt. And you can see that Derek DeGennaro is getting a little education from Jim Walden on the sidelines. Iowa takes over at the Iowa State 39. Iowa with an I formation. Kevin Harmon jitterbugging his way for about 8. Picking and choosing until he runs into Ray Carruthers up at the 32.
Oh, that's a good runner. Watch the blocking on the right side. He gets just a little bit of a crack, but watch the running by Harmon. 23 out to the side. Now you see the block there. Sees the hole. It's not where he was supposed to go. Cuts back inside. Picks his way. Picks the feet up. Makes another move right there. Goes back to the right-hand side. Finally dropped by Welding. Just an excellent run by Kevin Harmon.
Welding, Carruthers, and Richards in on the tackle, and Hartley going for 6. Incomplete in the end zone to Quinn Early, and a big play. It looked like the ball might have been just a little bit underthrown. Early had to wait for it for a second. The defense caught up with him, and they busted up.
This is a handoff, a little pitch to the player. He hands back to Hartley, the quarterback, and Hartley has Quinn Early going deep. Cyclone defensive back just made a great reaction. You see Welding right there, and Lopez Williams are beaten. The ball is up. He has to wait a minute. Gets the ball in his hands, and then he's hammered.
They stripped him of the ball. Chad Welding knocked it out of his arms. He had it. There's Chad Welding, Sioux City North product, a junior. And now it's 3rd and 3 for Iowa. The give to Hudson for the first down. They have to maintain possession. A little too far out for Houtland, perhaps. And so Iowa with just a good old dive. And David Hudson gets the first down. Alan Patton makes the stop for Iowa State.
Straight ahead play, and that Hawkeye offensive line is a big, big line across there. 270, 260, 260, 270, 290. And they're working against the Cyclone defensive line that is, well, the big guy is Randy Byrne at 258. Then it drops down to 241 is Tom Stoniak. So Cyclone's given up a lot of weight in the line.
Here's the pitch back to Harmon, trying to turn the corner. And he's run out of bounds by Jeff Dole. He'll get a gain of about 5 on the play. Stops the clock with 6.5 minutes left to play in the first half.
Dole of Grundy Center has come on in the defensive backfield, replacing Marcus Robertson out with that ankle injury or knee injury.
Look at that stat, George. Not bad for a half, huh?
15 carries. Boy. Look at Hayden Fry checking the playlist.
Second down and 4 on the 21. Draw play. And Harmon is down close to the 10. Chris Moore and Chad Welding make the hit on him.
Watch the blocking straight up the middle. 55. Look at the size of that hole. I think Mark and I could get through that one. And the good speed, good leg drive by Harmon. Maybe should have kept going left, but you never know. He saw something that we didn't, and still a good play for the Hawks. Another first down. Lopez Williams in on the stop.
First and 10 on the 11. Harmon down to about the 7. Gang tackled there by a bunch of Cyclones, and Herb Wester made a great block.
Watch this. He gets the ball, just kind of looks to see where to go. Herb Wester made a fine block for the Hawks. 76 for the Cyclones in there to get a little bit of a hand on him, but doggone, this Harmon's a good runner.
Second down and 6. The ball on the Iowa State 7. Iowa leading 10-6 with 5.5 minutes to play in the first half. High formation. This time to Hudson. Traffic at the line of scrimmage. Maybe one up to about the 4. Robert Dabney at the bottom of the pile for Iowa State. First to hit him. Well, I guess he got more than one, about 2 or 3. Well, let's go down to the field right now. Arlen Cianowski's down on the sideline. Arlen?
Marcus Robertson is injured his Achilles tendon. It looks like a stretch, and Frank Randall, the athletic trainer, said he will not be back today. It doesn't look serious, but they're going to hold him out for the rest of the game.
All right, thank you. Tom Anderson was slated to be the backup for Robertson, but Lopez Williams has been playing the spot. Big play, 3rd and 2. Here's the pitch back to Harmon. He's got daylight and a touchdown.
Just a quick fetch back to Harmon, and he just takes a look to see what the linemen are doing. There's the hole right there. Good block, goes in standing up. Excellent play by the Hawkeye offensive line. Another look at it from behind him, a sideline camera. You see Harmon, he senses the hole, goes through, kicks the legs up. Just a fine back.
David Hudson just simply took Lopez Williams right out of the play. Rob Houtlett on to tack on the point after. It is up. And it's good. So we have 4 minutes, 40 seconds left to play in the first half. And now the Hawkeyes are putting a little margin between them and the Cyclones. They lead 17-6. Don't forget the rivalry continues when Dr. Tom Davis's Iowa Hawkeyes come to Hilton Coliseum in Ames for a basketball showdown with Johnny Orr's Cyclones. Mark your calendars for December 19th at 7 p.m. Iowa versus Iowa State here on all of the Cyclone television network stations. George Murphy set to kick it off. 4:40 to go in the half, and the wind blows it off the tee again.
Go back.
Iowa 17, Iowa State 6.
I'm going to go back a little bit, Mark, to show you, and I think some of the people caught it on the field goal that Houtland tried a little bit ago. The ball got up in the air, and the wind just literally took it right out of the goalpost and stopped it, absolutely killed it. And it's tough to kick the direction Iowa's kicking right now.
Bridges and Ross back deep for Iowa State. And this one's coming down short. And Iowa State will start out at their own 32. It was picked up by Paul Thibodeau, the up back. The tackle was made by Sean Ridley, the junior from Omaha Central.
Good one. And he really nailed Thibodeau.
Well, let's see if DeGennaro is still the quarterback or not. He is. Even despite throwing that interception. Jim Walden says Derek DeGennaro will play today. Option. Joe Henderson gets rolled after a gain of about 2 up to the 35. And in there on the stop, of course, as you can see, a bunch of Hawkeyes, including number 66, Melvin Foster.
Pitch a little slow developing. DeGennaro takes it out, makes the pitch. Henderson has about 3 yards to pick up and gets back, picks up about 1.5 yards.
J.J. Puck also in on the tackle. Let's give him a little credit. 2nd down and 9. DeGennaro, straight drop back, wanting to throw, tucks it away, and he'll scramble. And he'll get close to first down yardage, but not quite. Up to the 40 before he wisely determines to slide home there.
Good wise play by DeGennaro. Look downfield, and the receivers on the short side and the near area of the field closest to us were both well covered. DeGennaro saw a little bit of running room to the left side and wisely went that way.
Well, we've almost played 6 quarters for Iowa State this year, and they have yet to find the end zone. Thus far, the only points put on the board for the Cyclones have come from Jeff Shudak. 17-6, Iowa, 3:22 to play in the first half. 3rd down and 4 on the 45. DeGennaro throws incomplete.
All they were trying to do is to get the first down.
Intended for Tom Kiska coming out of the backfield. J.J. Puck right there to put a little pressure on Kiska. And now a punting situation.
Now remember, the Cyclones line up with a quarterback, 2 running backs, which are set outside the linemen, and 2 wide receivers, and the punter. They can do a lot of things off this formation.
If Iowa doesn't cover the wideouts, it will simply be a pass play. But they do have coverage spread across the field. So look for Judge Johnson. No, here it is. DeGennaro will run for the first down.
Good play. Let's take a look at this on replay, because DeGennaro, the play was called, and the Hawks had 2 receivers on the near side, or 2 defensive players on the near side. They both went downfield with the receiver. The snap came to DeGennaro, and the whole right side of the field was wide open. He looked downfield looking for the back. Nobody there, and you see no Hawkeye jerseys. Have a lot of running room, picked up the first down. Take another look at it. You see right here? Nobody there. Nobody there. Absolutely nobody. DeGennaro made the run. Good play.
1st and 10, Iowa State on the 48. Burton Hanks chased DeGennaro out of bounds. Bridges in motion. Here comes the pitch to Henderson. He's to the midfield stripe. A gain of 2. Joe Schuster gets credit for the tackle. 2nd down and 8. Henderson got his bell rung on one occasion last week down in Tulane. I mean, he wanted to stay in there, but he didn't know north from south.
I didn't either. I didn't either. I was in the dome. I don't know what direction it's what down there.
2.5 minutes left to play in the half. The clock working against Iowa State right now. They're 50 yards away from the end zone. Here's the fake. DeGennaro rolling out, throwing upfield, and intercepted again. Sean Ridley, and he returns it inside the 40 before Derek DeGennaro comes up to make the tackle himself.
This might well be another pass that DeGennaro shouldn't throw. There was heavy coverage on that side. Little fake pitch. He rolls out to the near side. Speed can beat the defensive lineman. But looks downfield, tries to force the ball. I think Eddie Bridges was the guy. Bridges was the man there. Watch the Hawks react to this. Number 31 stepped right in there and made a block. Excellent, excellent play. The players react, switching over, making the transition from defense to offense. And you see DeGennaro. Hey, that's a good tackle right there. Holy smokes.
Iowa will have 1st and 10 on the Cyclone 37. And Jim Walden, a little bit upset with that, but he's not going to let it show to his players. He wants to keep them fired up. Iowa now wants to use the clock. Here's Hartley. Throws to Harmon. Correction to Hudson. Hudson out of the backfield and gets a gain of about 1 after all that before Randy Richards drops him. What's more, the clock will continue to roll. We're under 2 minutes now in the first half. Turnovers, 2-0. Iowa State. 2 big ones. Big ones indeed.
Cyclones have just picked up the first down on the fake punt thing, and doggone, they could have mounted a good drive.
2nd and 9. This time, Harmon looking for daylight. Watch that man dance. Whoa, can he run? He changes directions faster than most people run forward. And he gets close to first down yardage. Kevin Harmon.
Fine back. You watch it. He'll get the handoff here. Now he'll look. You see, he's trying to figure out now where the block's going. Where can I go? Well, there it is. The guy made a little shove, and then the guy came back and got the block, and Harmon just gets absolutely maximum out of the play.
We're going to measure for the first down. How would you like to have Kevin and Ronnie in the same backfield in the NFL?
Well, let's go back a few years. You got to think about this a minute. They've got an option quarterback, Chuck Hartley. Kevin Harmon was a quarterback. Now think about him as an option quarterback or running like the wishbone for Oklahoma or some system like that. Great speed. Must be a decent passer because they used him as a quarterback.
127 yards already for Harmon on the afternoon. And it is a first down for Iowa, so it's 1st and 10 on the Iowa State 27-yard line. Iowa leads by 11, 17-6, 124, and rolling towards halftime. Harmon again. This time slowed up somewhat by Anthony Hoskins and then dropped at about the 25 after a gain of 1 or 2. And now Iowa wants to call timeout because they don't want to waste that clock. They have 1:11, and they see that end zone right there in front of their face. Hudson and Harmon doing a bang-up job today with the running game for Iowa.
Kevin Harmon, just an outstanding back, and you have to look at Bayless. Bayless is the MVP last year, and now he's injured. He may not play for a while.
We'd like to invite all of you fans to an inside look at Iowa State football when you join Coach Walden and myself for the Jim Walden Show. You'll see highlights from the previous game, get some insight into what goes on behind the scenes, as well as Coach Walden's thoughts on upcoming opponents. The Jim Walden Show, here on the Cyclone Television Network stations. Check your local listings for time and day. And there's the man. Tell you what, he is such a thrill to work with. He is candid. He is sincere. And, of course, Hayden Fry, one of the best in the game today on the other sideline. Yesterday came over, George, he came over for an interview. Had the pleasure of talking with him, and he said, all the time you want. And we had a great visit. He is one of the nicest men you'll ever meet. 2nd and 8. Hartley. Going deep. Wide open is Marv Cook. And Iowa is knocking on the door at the 7-yard line. Boy, there was nobody in the neighborhood of Marv Cook.
Overloaded the corner on the near side, and Marv Cook, the tight end in the area. And I think when you see the ball go here, Hartley has to look downfield and be pleasantly surprised to see that. And I think Marv Cook thought he was going to get a little pressure. If he just turned around taking a look, he might have walked in the end zone.
Well, I'll give the coaches in the press box a little credit for that one. That was a great play. Here comes Harmon. Down to the 3. Let's see if Iowa wants timeout. I think they will. They'll stop the clock with 54 seconds left to play. Chris Moore made the stop on Harmon. And we'll have 2nd down and 3. Make it about 2nd down and 4 coming up. Thus far in the ball game, no fumbles, not one. Nobody's coughed up the football yet except 2 interceptions. Derek DeGeneres was picked off twice.
Pretty well played game considering the emotions involved in the 2nd game of the season for one team, and of course the Hawks have played one more game, but nevertheless I think it's been a well-played football game so far. I think that been some good things on both sides, and of course the biggest thing I see is the 2 interceptions have been just disastrous for the Cyclones and have come pretty much at times when the Cyclones might well have mounted drives.
Well, there are over 50,000 on hand here today at Cyclone Stadium, Jack Trice Field, Iowa State University in Ames, Iowa, for the great intrastate rivalry. Keep in mind that the Hawkeyes have won the last 4, and Iowa State won the 3 previous to that.
I'm anxious to see a picture of this and see what the attendance is, because I have a picture of the Nebraska game that set, or the Iowa game, one of them that set the original record. It looks to me like there are more people in those 4 end zone corners than there have been in the past.
Second down and goal to go at the 4. 54 seconds left to play in the first half. And it's Ronnie Harmon. That hole looked like Interstate 35. 4 lanes into the end zone for Harmon. Marv Cook with a great block to open the hole.
And watch right in front of him, number 20. They got that extra man in there, and he steps right behind the block, and he's into the end zone. Just a fine, a well-conceived play by the Hawks. Greg Fetters, the center, made that excellent block to really open the hole.
Iowa opens up a 23-6 gap, and Rob Houtland will try to make it 24. And does. Well, we'll find out if Iowa State has a 51-second offense or not, because that's exactly what remains to be played in the first half. Keep in mind that Iowa State has not found the end zone for a touchdown in 87 yet. 24-6. That's the story. The Hawkeyes leading Iowa State less than a minute until halftime.
You think this might be a time when a team might try an onside kick? 51 seconds left, and the Hawks have pretty well shown that they can stop the Cyclones. They haven't let them in the end zone. The Cyclones haven't scored a touchdown. This might be a time for the Hawks to try the onside kick. The Cyclones, if they got the football at midfield or nearly so, wouldn't have too much time, just 51 seconds. They might run the risk. Who knows?
Hayden Fry has to be somewhat less worried now than he was at the start of this game, I'll tell you that. 6 plays, 37 yards, 2 minutes, 16 seconds. And keep in mind that it was set up by a big interception. And let's take another look at that last touchdown, ground level by Ronnie Harmon.
Now you watch. Took Richards right side and just moved him outside. Harmon into the end zone, again untouched. A well-conceived play, good blocking by the offensive line.
And the Hawkeye victory flag is starting to march around the field on the far side right now, but keep in mind we still have 2 quarters of football to play, and you can't underestimate Jim Walden. You'll never know what he's going to do. George Murphy tees it up. J.J. Puck will hold it, or Kerry Burt rather will hold it, and Dennis Ross and Eddie Bridges are back deep to receive the kick.
It may be a little bit deep. I don't think anybody can kick it that far today, the way the wind's coming in from the north end.
This is going to be a squib kick. And Paul Thibodeau grabs it at about the 28, gets up to about the 34. So Iowa State will have 48 seconds left to play in the first half, and a long way to go. And let's see who the quarterback is for Iowa State again. Derek DeGennaro was intercepted twice on 2 possessions, and now Sadek comes back in for Iowa State. He wants to air it out. And he's sacked. And there is a flag on the play. We may have a face mask, but Dave Haight was in there.
A couple of flags, and those are up by the line of scrimmage. I have a feeling it's going to be holding call. Yeah, you see the hand on the back right there. Hey, Dave Haight, they went right around the back. Yeah. Oh, there it is. There's the face mask. Yep. I thought maybe it was going to be the other place. It'll go back to the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. It's just kind of one of those inadvertent things. I thought they might have called a hold in the center of the line. Offensive lineman with a hand around on the back of the defensive lineman. 38 seconds left to play in the half. Sadek going long, intended for Bridges. Well, here's a case of a guy wanting the ball more than the defensive back. Again, watch the good protection. Sadek with excellent protection, and he really unloads it.
45 yards.
Long throw, and Bridges will go up over the top of the defensive back. The defensive back was right there with him, and Bridges made a great catch.
Well, Iowa State with 19 seconds. Sadek out to Bridges. Interference. Interference on Greg Brown and Mike Burke.
They're liable to make the same play here, and Bridges will go out.
Watch the lower right-hand corner of your screen now as we take another look.
Watch Bridges. He's open, and watch the Hawk defenders all over him before he has a chance. And I don't believe the pass was really thrown where he might get a hold of it, but boy, they hammered him. Here's a situation. You think about this. The Hawks Cyclones had the football with 51 seconds on the kickoff. Started play after the penalty. They had 42 seconds left. Now they're down to 16 seconds, and they're on the 11.
First down.
First down. First down at the 11.
Now Jim Walden may want some time here to talk things over, and he does.
Yep.
All right. Jim Walden wants time. He doesn't want to waste the opportunity because Iowa State will have the football first and 10 at the 11-yard line and 16 seconds on the clock.
There's the offensive brain trust. You see Coach Walden now talking to the official, but also with him were Norm Anderson, the backfield coach, and Steve Morton, the offensive line coach. And those are the guys that decide what they're going to play, what kind of plays they're going to call. But as Coach Walden says, I call the plays. We'll decide, but I call them.
Well, the thing is, what I want to know, there's the attendance today, 54,101, and it is a new official record. The question, George, why call time when the clock has already stopped?
Why call time? Well, they call time because he didn't want to just call a play. He wants to talk it over. He wants to find out some things. He was talking to the official, and I think he was pointing to the clock, indicating we may do some things now. Keep a handle on that clock because we want to be darn sure. There's only 16 seconds left.
The old record attendance here for this game at Cyclone Stadium was 54,066. And we have 54,101. And a lot of you great fans watching on television all across the country. First and 10 at the 11. 16 seconds. Double setbacks. Henderson and Kiska. Sadek. Sacked. And a big play for Iowa. A great sack by number 5, Mike Burke, the defensive end, who got whistled for the interference on the last play and then comes up with a big defensive play.
Watch right there, number 5 in, but 72 also came off of his block and is in on the play. But Sadek, it doesn't really make much difference. 10 seconds, I don't think that really hurts things too bad. It gives them about, well, what, 8 more yards to run a pass pattern. A little bit better opportunity, maybe.
10 seconds left to play. And a loss of 6 on that one. So it's second down and 17.
If you get down in tight, Mark, you know, and it restricts you, like if you're at the 5-yard line, you look, you've only got about 10 yards in which to run a pass pattern and get it off. This gives them a little bit more room. They have an opportunity to do more things, and if maybe the first man isn't covered, it gives him an opportunity to look to a secondary receiver.
Well, now, George Turner, what play do you call?
Well, I don't know what specific play. I know it's going to be a pass. I would look, it's going to almost has to be something in the end zone. They're down to 10 seconds. They got to try for the touchdown.
Single setback. 3 wideouts. Sadek throwing for the corner. Incomplete. Intended for Dennis Ross. And Iowa had double coverage in on the corner. White Sistrunk was right there just in case that ball was on target. So let's take a look at it. Ball's going to come right at you here.
Dennis Ross, the intended receiver. He tried to put it up a little bit soft, let him get in behind, but it was Not there, a little bit overthrown. Good hit on the defender by Sistrunk.
Not enough time for too much more attempt at the end zone, so Shudak on, and this will be a 34-yard attempt. He's 2 for 2 today. Shudak puts it in the air, and it is good. So again, inside the red zone, Iowa State has to settle for 3. And it is now a 24-9 ball game. There are still 3 ticks left on that first half clock. So Iowa will get a return attempt. And there you see the record crowd here at Jack Trice Field in Cyclone Stadium. 54-101. That's official.
So what's encouraging about Shudak is that if the Cyclones can score some touchdowns, he'll win some games for them on down the line. This young man has great talent. And just a baby, just a youngster, and he'll be around for a while. A freshman out of Council Bluffs, 5'10", 177, and Coach Walden says he can do amazing things with a kick. That he can sometimes hit intended receivers right in the chest with it. 4-play drive, covered 66 yards in 45 seconds, and I think that surprised the Hawks a little bit. Great catch, great reception by Eddie Bridges.
Jim Walden and the Brain Trust trying to figure out if they're going to do anything special here, but I doubt very seriously they are right now.
Oh, 3 seconds left. The guy catches the ball, the clock runs out. I don't think they would try this at all because they need an opportunity to get another play to do something with it after they get it. Well, if he catches the ball's dead at that spot. He can't advance it. Catches the ball.
You're talking on a pop-over now.
Yeah.
They would try a pop-over.
Yeah.
Nope, squib kick. Hard to handle. Picked up by Quinn early at the 15. Up to the 25. And they're going to run out of time. And that is it. So the first half is history. And the first half belongs, perhaps as expected, to the Iowa Hawkeyes, 24-9. But it has been an exciting first half. And we've got a great second half coming up straight ahead, so don't go away. George Murphy will put his foot on the ball at the 35 and back deep to receive for Iowa State. And we'll check this out. I think we may have a change back there on some of the deep backs. I think it's Eddie Bridges on one side. And on the other side, on the far side of the field, it's going to be Hughes Suffren returning the football this time. 24-9, Iowa. See what the second half holds for everyone. This one coming down to Bridges at the 11. Across the 20, has a little hole, a little daylight, up to the 38, to the 40. And a great return by a zigzagging Eddie Bridges. He is finally stopped by Tyrone Berry, a senior from Mount Vernon, New York.
That's 2 great plays in a row by Eddie Bridges. He made the excellent reception just before the half to put him in the place for the field goal. And watch the run. He goes by one blocker right there. Hughes Suffren looking for somebody to block. Eddie says, I'm not going to wait for you. But turn back here, gone a couple more yards. He might have been off to the races.
Iowa State starting out at their own 41-yard line. Brett Sadek, the quarterback. The option, the pitch to Kiska, and a great defensive play by Iowa's Kerry Burt. Oh, he read that one all the way, strung it out, and the moment Kiska got his hands on the football, Kerry Burt was there.
And he blew right through the blocker. Just took the blocker right out of the play.
So a loss of 3 on the play, and it brings up second down and 13 now. The ball dropped back to the 37-yard line. Sadek 7 of 13 in the ball game for 111 yards. And Iowa State will go with a single back set. Sadek to throw, heading for the sideline, and maybe tipped at the line of scrimmage. It looked like it may have been deflected. Incomplete.
It wasn't tipped. It was probably a break because Kerry Burt was right in the spot for an interception. He was between Sadek and the receiver.
Now the big question is, going into the halftime locker room, 15 points down, can Jim Walden inspire his Cyclones to think that, hey, we can get back in this ball game?
I think it's coming up. not so much an inspirational thing as to coming up with some plays that are going to work against the Hawk defense. They've made some excellent adjustments.
3rd and 13 on the 37. Slot right formation. Sadek to throw. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Intended for Dennis Ross. Correction. I believe that was intended for Troy Moore, who was a freshman receiver that was out there on that occasion. Judge Johnston on the punt for the second time today. He's got a 29-yarder to his credit thus far. Marciano back deep to receive for the Hawkeyes. Long snap and a good boot. Boy, this is a boomer. Marciano backpedaling inside the 20. Takes it at the 16. Shakes one tackle. And then he's dropped back at the 11. And it is a dandy punt for Judge Johnston. 55-yard punt, and literally no return because Marciano was backpedaling the entire way, and Craig Mahoney, a freshman tight end on the specialty team, makes the tackle.
He got that up high enough so that the wind, which is, I think, a low-level wind, is going from north to south along the floor of the stadium. Up higher, I think it's going across the stadium, and Judge Johnson nailed that one.
Keep in mind that Hayden Fry said he would use 3 quarterbacks today, but Chuck Hartley has gone the entire way thus far. It's going to be Harmon and Hudson in there in the backfield, lining up in the eye. A change of alignment now. They bring Marv Cook, the tight end, to the near side. Harmon gets the give and finds a little daylight up close to the 20 to about the 19. It'll be a gain of about 6 or 7. Kevin Harmon having a tremendous day today.
End zone look at the play. You watch Harmon. Just a little bit of a crack. Hudson tries to make the block, and over the top of it was Chris Moore. Had a hand on Harmon, but Harmon, with those good, quick sideways moves, doesn't seem to lose any speed when he does them.
Robert Dabney gets credit for the tackle. 2nd down and 3 at the 19. Hartley fakes the draw, then gives it to Harmon, and Harmon has a lot of daylight. Up across the 30 for the first down at the 32 before Ray Carruthers wraps him up.
Good open field tackle by Carruthers, too, that might have saved a lot more yardage. Afraid if Harmon gets it in high gear, it's deep trouble. Good fake, good hold. Notice the blocking on the outside. Cuts back outside the linebackers. Now it's a foot race. And Carruthers off the block makes just an excellent leg tackle.
Also a good block there by Bob Cratch, the left tackle. And Harmon, 160 yards on the day already. And keep in mind, we're still 13 minutes away from the end of the 3rd quarter. Hartley, straight back and all the time in the world. And Quinn Early grabs it inside the 50 and then makes a couple of great moves and picks up another 7. Williams finally knocks him out of bounds at about the 43-yard line, and what a move Quinn Early put on some defenders.
You watch Chris Moore backpedaling down the middle. Early will get the ball just behind him, cuts back inside. Moore tries to make the stop. Early with a couple of moves, picks up a little yardage, but he's still going basically sideways. Lopez Williams finally makes the stop.
First down at the Iowa State 43. Quinn Early, the #1 receiver for the Iowa Hawkeyes this year. And this time we'll have a single back set for Iowa. 4 receivers downfield. Hartley in trouble. And finally falls down and gets it away complete, but it'll be a loss of 1 on the play. And Hartley actually lost his footing as he threw away that football, and sort of a shovel pass there.
Marv Cook, the receiver, the big tight end. This was a case that Hartley was just groping. He was trying to find somebody to get rid of it. He didn't want it. Looks this way, looks down the middle, nobody there. Now it runs out of the pocket and makes just a little flip pass, gets it up in the air. Marv Cook hits it, and Carruthers nails him just as soon as he gets the ball, and a lot of red jerseys there to clean up.
Well, officially no gain on the play. Cook with 3 receptions on the day for 38 yards. 2nd down and 10, still at the 43. Back to the I formation. And Richard Bass in there at fullback. This time right up the middle for a gain of about 5. Jeff Dole in on the stop for Iowa State. And Kevin Harmon just keeps adding the numbers up.
Let's take a look at the leading tackler in the Big 8 last year, Chris Moore, middle linebacker. Plays off the block and is right there to get a hand on Harmon. Chris Moore, an outstanding middle linebacker, led the Big 8 in tackles last year, although most of the publicity went to a guy from Oklahoma, Bosworth.
Third down and 5. Correction. Fast, the only setback in the backfield. Early split wide to the near side, and instead they go to Missouri. And Missouri can't hang on to it. In and out of his hands, coverage provided by Ray Carruthers.
Had single coverage on the near side on Quinn Early. I thought they might come this way as Early took a couple of steps in towards the quarterback, and they had a little conversation back and forth.
All right, we understand that Dennis Ross was injured in the first half. Let's go down to the field to Arlen Sianowski. Arlen?
Mark, Dennis Ross in that last series of downs, that pass play that Iowa completed, took a helmet to the sternum. It's badly bruised, and it's very doubtful whether he'll see any more action today.
And now Rob Howland on to attempt a 55-yard attempt that is good. What a kick by Rob Howland. A 55-yard field goal. And Iowa has roared out in the second half to a 27-9 lead. Well, let's watch it again. Talk about a beautiful kick. What a kick. 54, 55 yards, and it is right through the uprights.
55-yarder, and you might think that might be a stadium record by Rob Houghton, but the record is 62 yards set by Dave Lawson of the Air Force Academy in the first game played right here in Cyclone Stadium.
Well, George Murphy getting set to kick off. There's the scoring drive. 7 plays, 87 yards, just under 3 minutes. Back deep to receive for Iowa State will be Hugh Suffren and Eddie Bridges. And Bridges had a marvelous return to start the second half. And this one coming down to Bridges again, this time at the 7. Across the 20, and no further. Good coverage provided by Iowa on that occasion. Number 48, Tyrone Berry, right there to make the stop. And that's a couple of good special teams plays he's made today.
Case of Eddie Bridges, the ball was in the air too long, and Bridges had to wait for it to get down, and by that time all the blocks had been laid, and Iowa players were back up on their feet again.
Brett Sadek into quarterback the Cyclones. 11 minutes, 2 seconds left to play in the third. It's Iowa 27, Iowa State 9. Split setbacks for the Cyclones. Henderson gets the call. Right up the middle for a tough 3 or 4. Melvin Foster makes the stop for Iowa.
Let's take a look at Burt for Iowa, number 66. Stays right at home, gets in on the tackle. Good stop. Melvin Foster.
10.5 minutes and counting. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6. And Iowa State trying to open up some running room inside. This time the door is shut for Henderson again.
Iowa State against Tulane and against Iowa today. Early went to that little quick pass outside, and Iowa's covered that extremely well after they made some adjustments. Now trying to establish some running room inside, and against this big Iowa defensive line, they're having a bit of a problem.
Jim Walden looking on and not too happy at this time. Craig Mahoney checks in at tight end on this occasion. Iowa State with a double tight end formation. Over the middle, Sadek intended for Mahoney, and it goes incomplete. So Iowa State stopped dead in their tracks here in the second half. And they will be forced to punt again. Keep in mind that Judge Johnston, with the wind here in the second half, had a 55-yard punt just moments ago, and he's going to do it again. There's Johnston, averaging 42 over 2 kicks today, and Marciano back deep to receive. Iowa State, not enough players up in the lineup. Finally rushing on there was Sylvester Nickerson. They only had 10 men on the field. And a flag on the play.
Clock ran out. I think it got down to 0, and time ran out. The Cyclones will go back 5 and try it again.
Delay of game.
And this is a situation will happen to anybody, but a new system, one player short, and I'm not so sure that Dennis Ross hasn't been part of that team, and Dennis Ross not in the game, and as a result, somebody forgot.
This time Johnston will punt it away from his own 10. Needs a good one here. And gets a hanger. Marciano backing up. Takes it at his own 35. And is dropped in his tracks by Eddie Bridges. So Iowa with excellent field position. Once again, they'll start out at their own 35. 9.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. There's the story here at Cyclone Stadium this afternoon. It was close in the early going. Iowa State put the first points on the board, but now it is 27-9. And the rushing story today, 170 yards for Iowa, and Ronnie Harmon has most of it. Harmon again, or Kevin Harmon rather, and he gets it again across the 40 to about the 41 or 42. Jeff Dole makes the stop on Kevin, and a gain of 5. It'll bring up 2nd and 5.
Look at Kevin Harmon on this. Once again, just great moves. Into the line, out of the hole, back up, finds another little hole, and just has an amazing ability to pick the spots to turn on the speed.
Chuck Hartlieb has gone the entire way for the Hawkeyes, and he's going to go topside. He's going way long for Quinn Early. Early has it. Touchdown, Iowa. But a flag is down on the field, way back at the line of scrimmage. It was a 57-yard touchdown pass that may come back, and it's going to be holding against Iowa. The defender for Iowa State fell down on the play. Early had a super highway to the end zone, but now it will result in a 10-yard penalty.
Here's a great play for the Hawks that goes for 0, and Hartlieb really aired this one out. This is about, looks like about as far as he can throw it. He really unloaded on it, puts it up, just lets Quinn Early kind of wander around and find the spot. Lopez Williams, defensive back, you see him on the ground there, got his feet tangled up or stubbed with the toe on the turf. Now watch him right here. Lopez Williams going a little bit fast. Early comes back, makes the catch. Williams, had he stayed on his feet, had great position defensively, but it goes for 0.
So instead of 6, it brings up a 2nd down and 15 back at the Hawkeye 32. The sun peeking through the clouds now as Hartlieb goes topside again, and he has his man. This time complete to Travis Watkins, the sophomore. Hugh Suffren providing the defensive coverage in the secondary. Watkins, 2 catches for 35 yards coming into today's game. And the ball will be spotted just shy of the midfield stripe.
Think back a few years, Iowa has, in recent years, has just had some superb receivers, and Watkins, another one that's been sitting waiting to get his opportunity. 6'1", 180-pounder, just makes a nice catch. 3 Iowa State players there, but too late.
Iowa now with a single back formation. Hartlieb going long over the middle again. Marv Cook down inside the 30. And Iowa is just picking apart the secondary of Iowa State here in the third quarter. Carruthers makes the tackle on Cook. But a big first down and a big gain down to the 28-yard line.
And this is what establishing the running game with Kevin Harmon has really done. Cyclones have to respect that. Anything can happen, and as a result, it opens up the passing game. Iowa, again, with the experience. Cyclones with basically the freshman, sophomore secondary.
Hartlieb with an audible at the line. Gives to Harmon. An ankle tackled as he crosses the line of scrimmage by Randy Richards. A gain of about 1.
It's a good play by Randy Richards. See him right there playing off the block and makes the trip of Kevin Harmon. Pickup of a couple.
Ball spotted on the 27-yard line of Iowa State. Brings up second down and 9. 7 minutes, 35 seconds left to play in the third quarter. And again, a single back set. 4 wide receivers downfield. Hartley changes direction, then scrambles. He's got plenty of running room, but instead comes back with a great play. And it's complete again to Travis Watkins, I believe.
Watkins out there, and he made the good move when Hartley was in trouble. Watkins was down almost to the goal line. I think he turned around and came back to make himself available for the pass. And that's tough to cover, because you still have to respect him to going deep.
Charlie Bondra, an Ames High graduate, made this tackle on Watkins. And it's another first down at the 15. Watkins is a good one. He comes from Claremont, California. Dan McGuire and Watkins both hail from the same town. And here's the handoff to Harmon. Up to about the 13, a gain of a couple. Chris Moore makes the tackle, the first man to hit him.
Chris Moore and Dabney right there to make the stop on the play. Good play. And I think Kevin Harmon might be getting a little bit weary. They've run him a lot today.
Second and 8. The ball spotted on the ISU 13. Hartley to throw. Over the middle. And it is complete down to the 10. A gain of 2 or 3. And the receiver for Iowa is Craig Clark, a tight end, senior from Columbus Junction, Iowa. 6'3", 230-pounder. Chris Moore providing the defensive coverage, along with Randy Richards.
Going to be a pretty good hole in the Hawk offensive line next year as you look at that, because Marv Cook, Mike Flagg, and Craig Clark are all seniors, all about the same size, and all very, very capable players.
Hartley today, 14 of 17 for 166 yards. And I think he's settled into the #1 job there, George. He's been marvelous today. Hartley doesn't like the look, so he'll call timeout. So we have 5 minutes, 36 seconds left to play in the third quarter. And Iowa in command, soundly 27-9. Now there's a good look at the parking lot between Cyclone Stadium and Iowa State Center. 5 minutes, 36 seconds remaining to be played in the third, and there's the story. Iowa has kept the ball on the ground and just run over the Cyclones today. Iowa State has an advantage in the passing department, but the Cyclones have yet to find the end zone in 1987. It's been all Jeff Shudak's foot.
That completion percentage, too, for Iowa, 14 of 17. That's outstanding.
Third down and 4, the ball on the 9-yard line of Iowa State. And Harmon gets the call. And he gets tripped up with a good open field tackle from Chris Moore. Had a little daylight if he could have shaken by more. Well, I have been impressed with Kevin Harmon and Chuck Hartlieb today. I think there's no doubt about it that these young men will carry the fortunes of the Iowa State offensive attack into the Big Ten season.
I think others have been impressed with him before, but I think today that Kevin Harmon, I think really that they planned to play Bayless quite a little today. And then he got hurt in the first half, and they're probably not going to use him again, so Harmon's having to do it all.
Big play, 4th and 3, roll out by Hartley, going for the end zone, touchdown. To David Hudson, the fullback, coming out of the backfield. And it is 33-9, and what was expected to be a big spread for Iowa has become just that.
Look at it. You see Hudson took the pass. Just a beautiful setup. Watch it once again. Goes out. Just a little bit of a delay. Looks down. Waits for him to get in the right spot. There he is. He's all alone and just trots into the end zone. Lopez Williams was there, but again, too late.
Rob Houtland with a point after, and he's right on target. So it is 34-9. Keep in mind that the odds makers figured the Hawkeyes to be 22-point favorites coming into the game, and right now they lead by 25. 4:47 to go in the third, and we'll return to Cyclone Stadium after this timeout. 4:47 remaining in the third, and Iowa blowing this one open. Mark Matthew along with George Turner here on the Cyclone Television Network. Glad to have you with us today. That last scoring drive, 9 plays, 64 yards, and about 4.5 minutes of time. George Murphy set to tee it up and kick it off once again. Hugh Sufford and Eddie Bridges back deep for Iowa State. Bridges at his 9. And dives over a pile of tacklers at the 25 to about the 27.
Eddie Bridges, the times that he has returned kicks, I think has just done a fine job. He's not very big. I don't know whether he can stand that kind of abuse, but and then still play receiver, but has done an excellent job here in the second half.
Brett Sadak. Letting her fly, intended for Mike Bush, the tight end. And I understand down on the sideline right now, we have the two other Iowa quarterbacks, Dan McGuire and Tom Paholski, warming up. There's the numbers on Sadak today. 7 of 17 for 111 yards. No interceptions. There were 2 big interceptions by Iowa in the first half, both picking off Derek DeGeneres.
And that last quick pass is that there were 2 receivers and 4 defenders in that immediate area.
Sadak and a sack and a stunt there and a good one. What a play by Joe Mott. He just simply closed the door. Nobody picked him up. And he came in and dropped Sadak back at about the 20.
Yeah, this is a play, too, that I'm not so sure that maybe he might not have missed one. It looked an awful lot like a lateral. A little hard that you can't tell it from that camera angle, but from where we were sitting, it looked like it might have been a lateral pass, which would have been a free ball.
Well, the officials didn't rule it that way. Stop clock, 4:35 to go in the third. Third down and 10, and Iowa State has been absolutely stymied here in the second half. Sadak to throw. Has Tom Schulman.
Had his knee down.
And he may have had his knee down when he caught it. Let's see where they spot it. It will not be a first down. It will be 2 yards short. He dropped his knee to the turf. And they'll spot the ball back at the 35.
Good play. Sadak looks left, then comes back to the right side. Looks down the middle first, then goes to shoulder. And you see there, it's a little hard to tell, but I think he had his knee down. The official on the sideline said he did. Otherwise, it would have been first down Cyclones.
That was the first completed pass here in the second half by Iowa State. Judge Johnston on a punt on a 4th and 3. Peter Marciano back deep to receive for Iowa. And a line drive that Marciano lets fall. Who touched it? It is whistled dead. Iowa State cannot advance the ball. It bounces off Marciano and was picked up by a Cyclone at the 38-yard line. It will be Iowa State football, but he cannot advance it. And Hayden Fry is questioning this call out on the field. He doesn't like it.
Hugh Suffren picked it up on the bounce. I don't think Hayden's questioning it so much. Look at it. I think Marciano, I think he definitely hit it. Yeah, bounced off of him, and Suffren was there. Here's another shot of it. No, maybe not.
I don't know.
Maybe not.
I don't know.
But that's the way it was called. It's just like they called Schulding's knee down. But doggone it, those guys down there in the stripes, they don't make a lot of mistakes.
Well, Iowa State has the football at the Hawkeye 38. Here's the draw play. And Henderson gets up to about the 36. There'll be a gain of 2 on the play. Dan Worth, the senior linebacker, makes the tackle. Henderson ranked 4th in the Big 8 in rushing coming into today's game.
Worth a big fella, 6'4", 236.
Des Moines Hoover High School.
Des Moines Hoover, you bet. Highly recruited young man.
A gain of 3. Second down and 7. 3:04 to play in the third. Eddie Bridges in motion. Here's the quick pitch to Henderson. A bad pitch. Henderson had to reach behind him to get it. And then finally gets about 2 yards up to the 34. Now, Arlen Sianowski has had a few words with some of the coaches down on the sideline. Arlen, what's the latest?
Mark, Iowa State coaches are real concerned about the penetration. There's no pressure on the quarterback. When you see Iowa State on defense next time, expect to see some linebackers coming, some pressure from the outside into the field side. They've got to get to the passer if they want to hold him back.
Kiska and Henderson will be the split backs. Third down and 5 on the 34. Here's Sadak over the middle as Kiska for the first down at the 25. Dan Wirth again makes the stop with a little help from Kerry Burt on the bottom of the pile, and also Mr. Foster.
Just a little delay play. You watch Kiska straight through out of the backfield. A quick toss to him. In front of the linebackers, or between the linebackers, and just a fine play. Wirth in to make the stop.
Tom Kiska. First and 10 on the 25.
Cyclones with this kind of a peck-away offense. They just kind of pick at you.
Both wide receivers split to the far side. Sadak, maybe a busted play. Yep. He tucks it away and keeps it himself for about 2 or 3 up to about the 22-yard line. I think maybe that might have been an option play, and nobody was there, and all he saw was white shirts, so he just turned it up.
You know, Mark, quarterbacks normally they lift their foot to indicate motion for the guy to start the motion, and he lifted his foot that time, and there was no motion. I think maybe that there were 2 busts on the play, one from the running back and one from, I think it was Eddie Bridges to the right side that should have been in motion, which might well have taken a defender out of that area and opened up the option play.
Tom Schuling split wide to the right side. Eddie Bridges in the slot right. Second down and 8. Now Bridges comes in motion to the near side. Sadak on the draw. Kiska across the 30 down to about the 18. He'll be about 2 yards short of the first down. Joe Schuster, the defensive tackle, and Melvin Foster make the stop. And now we have a man down for the Hawkeyes, and it looks like it is Melvin Foster that's down on the turf, and he is in some pain. Hayden Fry and the trainers come out. Foster, a sophomore from Houston, Texas, but a good one, 6'3", 220-pounder, and you know, I sort of like that. You see a lot of football coaches sometimes, they just stand on the sidelines, they're conferring, thinking about the next play, but Hayden Fry cares about his players, and he's right there, right now, seeing how bad the young man is hurt and maybe consoling him somewhat.
I think it's a good sign, and I'm sure that the good coaches do that. Maybe they don't go out on the field, but I'm sure that sometimes other things are happening. But Hayden right there to help him up.
Well, looks like he's okay. That's good. Melvin, you've been playing a great game, partner. Keep it up the whole year. You know, here's the funny thing. You got 54,101 here, and you got black and gold on one side and red and gold on the other. But after this game is over, after this game is behind them, and even depending on who wins, all these fans probably will be rooting on for each other. We hope so, anyway.
You bet.
Hope the Hawkeyes end up in Pasadena again this year. Full house backfield. Henderson. He's trying to get that first down, but it looks like he's going to be a yard or 2 shy, and Iowa did a good job stopping that full house on that occasion. Steve Thomas was in there for the Hawkeyes, a senior from Denver, Colorado.
They're a couple of yards short. They might well give Shudak another shot at it. Then again, maybe not.
Well, it's going to be 4th and 2, and I don't think a field goal is going to do anything at this point in time, so Jim Walden sends in the play. And he's also got Paul Thibodeau in there now, filling up the full house backfield. And listen to the fans. They still like it. At the end of the third quarter, and the quarter has expired before they can get the play off. So we are 3/4 of the way done on this afternoon. And Iowa in control, 34-9, but Iowa State's knocking on the door. Ready to start the fourth quarter. Iowa in control, 34-9. An injury update now. Arlen Sianowski down on the sideline. Arlen?
Mark, Dave Haight sprained his left ankle on the lateral side, the outside side. They've got him iced down, and he does not expect to play the rest of the day.
Sorry to hear that. 4th down and 2. Big play for Iowa State. Sadek to throw. Incomplete, no flags fly. And the fans wanted interference. You can hear the boos. And Jim Walden wanted interference also.
Boy, this is close. This is close. And an idea of the kind of things that Coach Walden's staff will do. Boy, that looked like interference.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd have to say that that's one of those things. And, of course, Walden's a little bit worked up with Brett Sadek right there.
Intended for Dan Mahoney, the tight end, and the defense provided by Dwight Sistrom. The ball goes over. Iowa will regain possession at their own 17, and they'll go from the eye. And we have a new quarterback for the Hawkeyes now. Dan McGuire is in calling the signals. Started game 1 against the Volunteers of Tennessee in the Kickoff Classic. Did not play against Arizona because he has a hip injury. But McGuire is guiding the fortunes once again. Gain of 4 by Harmon.
Big fella, 6'8". Well, that gives him a great advantage in being able to see receivers and look over the top of the defense.
McGuire on the rollout. Now throwing across the grain. Incomplete. Could have been interference there also on Randy Richards, but no flag dropped.
Well, Richards and the ball arrived almost identical at the same time. Here's McGuire rolling out. You notice it. Doesn't look like he's moving very fast. Remember, he's 6'8". Sizable. Just pops the ball over the top and almost a simultaneous contact. Good defensive play by Randy.
3rd down and 6 on the 21. There's Dan McGuire, the sophomore, and he is going to be a dandy before he gets done. Here's the draw play to Harmon. Flag flies. Harmon will not get the 1st down, and there is a flag in the backfield. Kevin Harmon gets up to about the 25, and he needed to get to about the 27 to pick up the 1st down. Charlie Bondra puts the hit on Harmon.
It'll be a penalty against Iowa, and the Cyclones have to look at it. Would bring up 4th down and about 3 if they do not take the penalty. I guess they'll turn it down.
On the offense, refused, 4th down.
Well, unless my memory is incorrect, George, I believe this will be the first punt of the day for the Hawkeyes.
First go at it. First go at it. That's very, very unusual.
On to do the punting for Iowa is Mark Adams. He's averaging 41.7 yards per punt this season. He's punted 10 times. His longest has been a 49-yarder.
Short drop, too. Notice he's only about 10 yards deep.
Jeff Dole will be back deep to receive as the lone setback. 10-man rush. And a short punt. Dole takes the line drive at the 43. Almost bobbles the ball and then falls forward to the 50.
Hawks with kind of an interesting punt formation. They had about 9 people and had a man in motion and looked like they might go to the short snap.
13:40 to play. Well, we have 13:40 to play. And I think Iowa can pretty well safely say they've got this one put away, 34-9. They had a 33-yard punt from Mark Adams. And Iowa State will take over at midfield. Iowa State, I think, would be happy right now just to get a touchdown. They have been unable to find the end zone despite getting close several times. Tom Kiska gets 1 or 2. Seems like Iowa State in 2 games now has been able to move the football up and down the field, but once they get down to about the 10 or 15-yard line, the going gets tough.
No question about it. Iowa with great depth, a lot of people. So just an exciting day at Iowa State Stadium. Cyclone Stadium is packed, largest crowd in history.
54-101.
And a gorgeous afternoon. People were concerned it looked like pretty nasty before the game, but it's turned off beautiful.
Second down and 9. Bridges in motion. The draw play to Henderson, and he doesn't have any running room at all. He may have even lost a half a yard or so. Myron Kepi right there to plug the hole. Next week, the Iowa State Cyclones go on the road once again. They'll be traveling to Wyoming to meet the Cowboys.
Take a look at the play of the Iowa nose guard. Big number 52, that's Steve Thomas. And he just takes care of a couple of people and just clogs things, and the draw play has no place to go. 77 has the ball carrier right there, in among all those bodies.
Third down and 9. Blitz being shown, and then they drop back. Sadek just gets it off to Tom Schulte. And they say it is incomplete, and Sadek is hurt. Sadek took a tremendous hit after unloading the pass. Now he's getting up. So now a punting situation coming up, 4th and 9. We mentioned that Iowa State is going to Wyoming. Iowa will play host to another Big 8 opponent next week in Kansas State at Kinnick Stadium. Judge Johnston set to punt. And he has been booming them. A high hanger, Marciano. He loses the ball, and it is covered, I believe, by Iowa State.
It looked like Marciano just let that one hit him right on the chest. And Eddie Bridges down there to cover the football. One of the wide receivers had good speed on the outside.
Now, there was no flag on the play, but Marciano drew quite a crowd. Did they give him 2 steps?
Kick. Watch the kick come down. Marciano waiting for it. Yeah, I think there were a couple of steps in there. There were an Iowa player in there blocking the Iowa State player out.
There is not a setback in the backfield. Sadek has the ball batted down. Iowa State did not have a running back in there on that set.
They had one in, but they put him in motion out to the left side, and all receivers, and Coach Walden said there'd be a lot of things that you'll see like this.
Sadek is not feeling very well right now. Keep in mind, he got hit hard on a play just a couple of moments ago.
He might get hit right here again. You see the pass batted down, but Sadek not at full strength at the moment. Maybe he'll get that second.
We'll find out from Arlen in a few moments what happened to Sadek. He was attended to by the trainer. In the meantime, down to Mahoney. Sadek to Mahoney at the 11. It'll be a gain of 5. Dan Wirth makes the tackle on Craig Mahoney.
Sadek rolling out to his left. It's kind of the hard way to throw. Mahoney had to turn around to catch it. He might have picked up a couple more yards. A good couple of Hawk defenders there rather quickly. It'll bring up 3rd and about 5.
Sylvester Nickerson brings the play in from the sidelines now. He is in the lineup. And Nickerson will line up as one of 3 backs in a full house backfield. It is 3rd down and 5 at the 11. Bootleg. Sadek on the roll. Intercepted at the goal line by Iowa. Intercepted by number 29, Greg Brown, a sophomore from Iowa City.
They set up the play to the wide side of the field. Sadek made the fake, and the Iowa players took it. But Sadek just a little bit long getting rid of it, and a good defensive play by the Hawk defender. He gets up, and then Schulte nails him. Another pass that might well not have been thrown, or it was thrown maybe a little bit back to the inside of the field.
Intended for Tom Schulte. And Brown took it right away from him.
Third interception for the Hawks today.
Now Iowa will start out on their 1/2-yard line. There's the turnover story. Iowa will go with a full house backfield. McGuire, the quarterback. Hand off to Harmon. He gets out to about the 2 or 3. And he is dropped in his tracks by number 21, Chad Welding, the free safety for Iowa State. Kevin Harmon has had a field day against Iowa State today.
Take a look at Chris Moore on this play, the middle linebacker for the Cyclones, being blocked right there. Peels off the block, comes up and makes the play on Harmon, and adds to his long list of tacklers. The leading tackler in the Big 8 last year from his middle linebacker spot. Just a fine job for Iowa State.
Second
down, Lake City.
Ball on the 3. This time motion to the right side with Richard Bass, and the pitch goes back to Harmon. Harmon along the sideline, ended at about the 7. And Ray Carruthers makes the stop. We have a report from the sideline that Brett Sadek took a real shot to the ribs, but he's okay.
Little outside play. Has an option, I think, of going either inside or outside. Dips inside, then goes back to the outside, setting up the block. And a good defensive play made by Carruthers to push him out of bounds. Bring up third and about 3.
193 yards today for Kevin Harmon. Wow. Like to see those numbers when they play Ohio State or Michigan. Hope he keeps up the good work. Here's McGuire. Just overthrows Travis Watkins by a hair. Incomplete. So I would imagine Iowa will punt away the football. 4th and 3 on the 7th.
Ball needed to be about 7 inches shorter. If it had been Hartleaf throwing it, he might have caught it.
You got to keep in mind that that ball starts about 11 feet up in the air.
Boy.
Dan McGuire. 6'8". Tell you what, if you want to see a mountain of a man sometime, stand up next to Herb Wester, the right tackle for Iowa. Wow. Here's Mark Adams to punt. Jeff Dole back deep to receive. First punt was a short one, but this is a banger. Dole, fair catch. Just across the 50 at the 49, and that's where Iowa State will start out. 9 minutes, 35 seconds left to play here at Cyclone Stadium. A record crowd isn't leaving yet. We'll find out what happens when we return. Well, it has been a perfect afternoon for football. And if you're a Hawkeye fan, you've got to like what you've seen today. 198 yards on the ground, most of them belonging to Kevin Harmon.
Haven't gotten much production out of the other backs, and that may be a problem on down the line for the Hawks.
Derek DeGennaro in there now, the quarterback for Iowa State. He has 2 interceptions on the day, 1 of 4, both coming in the second quarter. DeGennaro, straight drop back, scrambling for his life. And he will not escape.
Jim Johnson, the defensive lineman, made the tackle. DeGennaro trying to go, but he had no place to hide.
There's Sean Ridley, who also helped out. But number 71 was first to lay a hand on him, Jim Johnson from Forest City. And I would imagine Hayden Fry now will probably give a lot of his traveling squad an opportunity to play in this game. 9 minutes left to play.
Kind of surprised me that he still had Harmon in, but I would guess that he's probably trying to get him 200 yards.
2nd down and 20, a loss of 10 by DeGennaro. Nickerson and Henderson will be the running backs. And again, DeGennaro rolling out and scrambling, going upfield, and almost picked off. Intended for Mike Bush, the tight end, but Greg Brown was right there with his hands on the football again.
Brown looks good. He's made a couple of good plays.
Hawkeyes look good.
Of course, that's the first-team defensive back. But you want to know a little bit of difference in the two teams. You look at the left cornerback. Brown is a sophomore. Sistrunk is a senior. Kerry Burt's a senior. And Merton Hanks a sophomore. So they're, 2 and 2. But those guys are probably, I'd guess, are probably redshirt sophomores. They've been there for 3 years, in their 3rd season anyway.
3rd down and 20. DeGennaro sacked again. And this time it's number 48, Tyrone Berry, who wraps up DeGennaro, and so that drive goes backwards 20 yards. It brings up a 4th and 28. Johnston on the punt. Marciano deep to receive. Keep in mind, we have seen 2 quarterbacks for Iowa State in 2 games. DeGennaro has not looked very good at all thus far. And then they have John Glotfeldy still on the bench. Glotfeldy, a freshman from Ames High and a highly heralded recruit. Here's Marciano at his own 30. Up to about the 35, and then what a tackle there. Oh, wait a minute. He's already down. Ease up, fellas. Emotions running a little high out there. Tom Kiska in there on the stop for Iowa State. Timeout. 7:51 to go. Now, for the first time this afternoon, some of the fans are starting to file out of Cyclone Stadium. But actually, this one was over quite some time ago. Dan McGuire, the sophomore, guiding the Hawkeyes now, and here goes the pitch back. And look at the speed being turned on by Tony Stewart. Now, Tony Stewart is a highly heralded recruit from Vauxhall, New Jersey. He's 6'1", 200 pounds, and only a freshman. And there was some question whether or not he would be eligible this year, and everything's A-OK. Got the grades passed and the test passed, and Stewart is a bright star of the future for Iowa.
Fairly highly thought of running back out of high school, and had to sit out last year. He was a victim of Proposition 48, and is now eligible. He could be a great one.
2nd down and 4. Stewart picks up 6. He'll get the call again. And he's got the first down. Really reads his blocking well. Alan Patton from Harlan finally makes the stop for Iowa State, and we have a man down, and that looks like Chris Moore with an ankle problem, limping a little bit. And obviously Iowa State doesn't want to lose him because he is the mainstay of the linebacking corps.
No. Notice as he walks across the field, too, that he's wearing the knee braces, which a lot of the Iowa players, a lot of players across the country, and boy, he'd be a big loss because Iowa State has good, strong linebackers, but they're not blessed with a lot of them. Matter of fact, Iowa State not blessed with a lot of players at any position, but I think there's a new intensity on the Cyclone football squad, and it's going to get better.
Mike Shane will replace Chris Moore. Shane, a sophomore, 6'2", 216-pounder. 1st and 10 on the 46. Single back set now for the Hawkeyes. Slot right formation. McGuire back to air it out. And he's gone long. Just underthrows. His intended receiver, who is Mike Flagg. Ball just didn't quite get there. Tim Baker in on the coverage from Grundy Center.
Tell you, that might be another one of those wind problems down there. At field level, that wind does really funny things. That pass looked like it went about 2/3 of the way and then just ran into a brick wall.
Well, I tell you what, I think Chuck Hartley has put a little stronger lock on that #1 job for Hayden Fry. He was absolutely good and great today. Here's McGuire again. Quick drop this time. Headed for the sideline, and it is complete.
Marciano. Take a look at Marciano from the end zone. Peter Marciano, little fella. The kick returner makes a good completion. Looked like he stepped on the sideline and is hammered pretty good by Carruthers, but they're picking the zone apart.
Stops the clock as he goes out of bounds with 6:36 left to play. McGuire, 1 of 4, first completion today. 1st and 10 at the ISU 39. Stewart gets the call, and a big hole up the middle that takes down the official.
Official is going to be credited with the tackle, and boy, that's tough.
Let's see if he's all right. Oh.
Les Ruland, a Big Ten umpire, and boy, he was really nailed.
He's a little slow getting up.
And that's the place on the field, umpire. That's a tough spot to be in. No protection whatsoever.
Well, we may be down to 6 officials for the remaining 6 minutes, 21 seconds, and we'll take a look and show you what happened, because wrong place at the wrong time, and ooh.
Les Ruland, you see him right there, and he's just hammered under the pile. Stewart's the one that ran right straight into him, and You think that isn't a tough place to be with all those big fellas around there?
We're going to report from Arlen Cianowski on the official in just a couple of moments. Here's McGuire back to throw. Headed for the sideline, and it's still complete. Misses the primary, but right in line over there was Craig Clark.
Watch the concentration. You see there's the intended receiver right there. The ball goes right through his hands. It's tipped. Great concentration by the second receiver, and then he's knocked out of bounds, but still made the reception. Good job.
I guess you give an assist to Watkins.
Yeah, you'd have to.
That's McGuire to Watkins to Clark. And a first down to the 19. Chris Moore has sprained an ankle on the Iowa State sideline, so he may be done for the afternoon. That's the latest report on Chris Moore. Here's Tony Stewart. Oh, nice move. Spins off one tackle and dives for 3 more. He has a bright future at Iowa. Randy Richards makes the stop. Gain of about 5 brings up second down and 5, and Iowa may put some more points on the board before the afternoon is over. 5:44 left to play.
Don't be worried about Chris Moore too much longer because he's back in there. He was the one that just missed on that tackle, and I think he was really worked up over it.
285-1988.
Well, there are the ISU pom-pom girls. And up the ball. Still going just short of the end zone. Grant Goodman, the running back from West Des Moines Valley.
Goodman hasn't had a lot of playing time, and it's just a great opportunity for the young guy. Let's go down to the sideline to Arlen Cianowski.
George, Chris Moore, very slight problem, twisted his ankle. He'll be all right. Update on the referee. He got caught in that play and just kind of ran over. He's got some bruised ribs, and they're kind of keep an eye on him, wait and see how it goes.
There's the official that got smacked. Ooh. First and inches. Goodman tries it again, but doesn't make it. Les Rulin from the Big Ten is the injured official. And let's take another look at this one.
Well, Goodman into the pile and tried to jump in, but didn't get airborne. His feet kind of slipped a little bit, and he is really nailed.
Scott Benson was a brick wall meeting him head on. 4 minutes, 25 seconds left to play. 34-9. The Hawkeyes have had this one in the bag for quite some time. Full house backfield now for Hayden Fry's Hawkeyes. McGuire tries it. And even if you're 6'8", you can't find the line right now. Iowa State motioning like they came up with a football, but the play was whistled dead long before it hit the turf.
No gain on the play.
Take a look at it. McGuire trying, the quarterback sneak, just trying to extend that big frame. Boy, there's a good hit in there. Number 45, just an excellent defensive play to get in and make the stop. Mike Shane, a linebacker, in there playing alongside Chris Moore.
A little pride on the line right now, you might say, George.
Yep. Mike Shane out of Sweetser, Indiana.
Well, they'll try it again. Motion again. This time, the ball carrier, Tony Stewart. And he is down before. Well, they rule a touchdown. I thought he was down before he crossed the line from our angle, but it is a touchdown for Tony Stewart.
He had a player underneath him, so he didn't hit the ground. That's what happened. He rolled across the Iowa State player. Iowa State had his defense pretty well. They make him go deep outside. Makes a little cutback inside. You watch right here. Looks there's a hand down, but Iowa State players are holding him in the air, and he gets the ball in the end zone.
Across the plane to the goal line. 40-9. Iowa. Tony Stewart. Rob Houtland on to tack on the icing on the cake. Bingo. 41-9. Well, we have 3 minutes, 24 seconds left to play. 41-9, and Iowa State will get their hands on the football one more time. And let us remind you once again that the rivalry continues when Tom Davis's Iowa Hawkeye basketball team comes to Hilton Coliseum in Ames for a showdown with Johnny Orr's Cyclones. Mark the date down. It's December 19th, 7 p.m., Iowa versus Iowa State, here on all of the stations along the Cyclone Television Network.
Watched a little bit of that scrimmage this morning, Mark, and I'll tell you, the Cyclones brought in some good players. There were a lot of Hawk fans over there watching. It was kind of a nice start for the day.
Hey, they had a tight end over on this side, though. They had a tight end over on this side. Goddammit. So the kill was wrong.
Little coaching on the sidelines there. George Murphy ready to tee it up, and he's had lots of practice today. Iowa State will have Hugh Suffren and Eddie Bridges back deep to receive.
And it's a good day for both teams. I think that the Cyclones have had an opportunity to find out what they would do against a really good team. It'll give some ideas for coaching this week, and I'm sure Hayden Fry wanted to play a lot of players.
Short kick from Murphy. Comes down to Paul Thibodeau. Thibodeau takes it at his own 26, gets up to about the 34 before he's run out of bounds. And Sean Ridley gets credit for the tackle. 3 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Iowa next week will be at home to host the Wildcats of Kansas State. Kansas State is playing Army this weekend. Iowa State will be on the road at Wyoming. Wyoming is hosting Oklahoma State this weekend. Derek DeGennaro is the quarterback for Iowa State. Tom Kiska is the lone setback. He gets the handoff.
Tom Kiska, the ball carrier.
And a real tough tattoo at the line of scrimmage. Maybe a yard forward progress. Making the stop was Jeff Keppel, sophomore from Urbandale. And Jim Walden does not have much to smile about today.
Watch the white jersey penetration here. You see that right there, Keppy is in there. Just made a fine play on Kiska. Good penetration. Keppel, Jeff Keppel played at Urbandale. He's 260 pounds. He's put on a little weight since high school.
Umpire Les Rulin from the Big Ten has taken himself out of the game. He will not return today. DeGennaro looking long and almost picked off. Boy, I'll tell you one thing. There was almost a third interception right there because Tyrone Berry had a hand on it.
Too bad. It's thrown a little bit flat. He had Eddie Bridges open down the sideline, and if the pass hadn't been deflected, it'd been pick up down to about the 45 of Iowa. Receiver was open. Pass right on the line, but a little bit low.
There is a relaxed Hayden Fry. Iowa will climb to 2-1 on the season, and they finally shake that one-point jinx that has been following them around for about 3 games. Winning the Holiday Bowl by 1, losing the Kickoff Classic by 1, and beating Arizona by 1. And there's a little bounce pass over to Eddie Bridges.
DeGennaro saw the pressure and got in a little bit of a hurry. Put the bass through it, and that almost always, when you get in a little bit of a hurry and try to put a little extra on it to zing it there, it goes low, and got to Eddie Bridges on the first bounce.
I don't know how much longer Jim Walden's going to be going with 2 quarterbacks. I don't think there's any comparison between Brett Sadek's performance and that of DeGennaro in the past 2 games, and DeGennaro has been a real liability here in this game today.
Well, I think that DeGennaro's playing right now. I don't think he wants to play Sadek anymore. He got banged up pretty good.
Fumble snap by Judge Johnson, and he will be buried back at the 15. No flags down, just a dropped snap by Judge Johnston. And if anything else can go wrong, it probably will.
Yeah, good. It was a good snap. He just dropped it, then he tried to pick it up, and he was kind of half looking at the football and half looking at what was happening coming towards him, and bobbled it again. But at this stage of the game, I guess it doesn't make too much difference. But Judge Johnson, young man, transfer out of a junior college, has done, I think, a good job of kicking the football today. Good part of the Iowa State kicking game.
2 minutes, 22 seconds left to play, and Tony Stewart, the lone setback, slot right formation. And Paholski's the quarterback. He'll tuck it away and keep it himself. And he'll gain close to 10. He gets up to about the 6-yard line, a gain of about 9 yards for Paholski. Paholski, as you can see, is not known for his rushing ability. Good block there by Tony Stewart to clear some of the way for Paholski.
What's interesting, you look at the difference in the two teams. The first year of Coach Walden and a lot of years for Coach Fry, and this is the third quarterback. He started almost 4 or 5 games, and son of a gun, he go that deep. It's amazing.
Stewart wrapped up just shy of the first down. We'll see where they spot the football, but hit at about the line of scrimmage. And watch the linebackers here.
See Stewart into the line. Good defensive play made by Randy Byrne, but the linebackers staying right where they ought to be. And interesting to note, too, at this stage of the game that Hayden Fry has a lot of first-stream linemen still in there.
There's Tom Paholski, good-looking young man from St. Louis, Missouri.
Dad was a major league pitcher.
Second man through is Stewart, and this time he has enough for the first down. Falls across the 5 down to about the 3. It'll be first and goal now. 1 minute, 3 seconds left to play in the football game.
I think as the season goes on that you'll see that Bayless will come back from the injury, and he'll be an outstanding back, but Stewart's going to be a great one.
Got an unusual situation here. I can just see right now. The Hawkeyes scoring, everybody's going to say, Hayden, you're running up the score, but you got a bunch of youngsters in there right now. They want to play. They want to do the best job they can. Here's a busted play for Holski. And I don't see the indication, so he may have been down just shy of the goal line. Well, now we see it. Now we see it. There's the indication. Touchdown, Tom Paholski.
Take a look at it. Tries to get the ball, and back was too far outside. Paholski just ad-libs a little bit. Son of a gun, I think that's one they missed too. I think the ball hit the ground outside the end zone at about the half-yard line.
Jim Walden. Long day at the office. Outland. Perfect.
Rob Howland, pitch after point. Iowa 47, Iowa State 9.
48-9. And the odds makers missed again. 22-point spread. 39-point margin now.
Well, I think this is one of those games that it was a situation where the new guy came in and had good success last week. They made a lot of mistakes, and if they correct the mistakes, you can maybe do that against a team the caliber of Tulane, but you can correct all the mistakes you want against a team the caliber of Iowa, and it's not going to make much difference. And when it gets going downhill and things turn sour, you look at the 3 interceptions, the bobble snap on the punt. You take away 14 or 15, maybe 20 points, it's a whole different ball game. But the Hawkeyes, with a lot of depth, a lot of good players, but just be patient. Coach Walden brings a strong tradition and a good coaching staff from Washington State. Didn't get a really good opportunity to recruit last year, but things will get better for the Cyclones.
There's the Hawkeye scoring drive. 4 plays, 15 yards, 2 minutes, 5 seconds. Tom Paholski with a TD on the afternoon, a 4-yard run. And the wind's still a factor down there as the ball is blowing off the tee a little bit. Kerry Burt may have to put a finger on it, and he will. George Murphy set to kick off. Bridges and Suffren back deep to receive for Iowa State. 37 seconds left to play. Squib kick. Thibodeau on the line drive, shot at the 21. Up to the 41, or 36, correction. And Jim Walden. He'll take a look at the game films. You know, he was rather optimistic. And he saw a whole different ball game after reviewing the game films after Tulane. Immediately following the game, he was rather pleased with the Cyclone effort. But then when he watched and picked apart those game films, he knew he had a lot of work to do. And I would imagine he'll have the same, probably same opinion after watching this game. DeGennaro running for his life. Finally firing short. Running back out of the backfield, and a gain of about 3 or 4.
Situation, he might well have kept that when he threw it back into the inside. I think he had a lot of running room outside, plus Mahoney downfield to block for him. He turned it into a run.
Dan Worth and Mark Stoops in on the tackle. 7-6, maybe the last play of the game, and should be. DeGennaro quickly out to Schulden. Schulden wrapped up at about the 43. And this ball game is history. The final score, the Iowa Hawkeyes 48, the Iowa State Cyclones 9. And there is a good gesture. Jim Walden congratulating Hayden Fry. They each have a great deal of respect for one another. And Hayden knows that Jim will be back. Jim Walden, upon accepting the new position here at Iowa State, said in his opening address, he said, tell Hayden we'll be coming, but it won't be in '87. And don't forget, they will meet again next year at Kinnick Stadium. Well, we'll be back to talk about this one. And it was a spectacular afternoon for Iowa, but first time out along the Cyclone Television Network.